T-minus 1 minute.
What?
More juice for the gyro.
Like the juice. Yeah.
T-minus 50 seconds.
At the point where we're at, it is a lot easier for new people to get up to speed really quick.
T-minus 40 seconds.
Let's go. That's a W. That's E1. That's E1. That's a W. How many people want to eat a W tonight?
T-minus 30 seconds.
Rick Hill taking over our camera. I think there may be a penalty for excessive celebration, but you know what? I'm going to let that one slide.
T-minus 20 seconds.
That's what I'm talking about. Now y'all some fun.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
Take a deep
4,
breath.
3,
This is it right
2,
here.
1, 0.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Football Card Quest, where we're talking everything football card collecting and investing. This is the Card Wire episode 1, guys. It's going to be a new show installment from myself, Andy Kaysen, and my good man, Steve, the Hitman Caladesi, right here, where we go through guys that are good waiver wire ads to put on your fantasy roster, and we translate that over and look to see if they are, in fact, a good player to pick up and put in your collection. Some of these guys may not be on the waiver wire. Some of these guys may be on your rosters already, or maybe guys you're thinking about already, but maybe they had an underwhelming start to the season. Maybe they're just in a down period right now that we think are a buy low candidate. So we're going to go through a little bit of undervalued, overvalued, hold, buy, sell. If you guys have some live eBay snipes, post them up in the chat. We'll get to those as well. Open to live questions. Any questions you guys have, post them up in the chat. We'll get to them. Steve, how you doing, man?
Well, man, a little bit worn out. All this football, man. Managing all these teams week one. It is a bit of work. If you're listing cards and managing teams and all this, it's almost like the off season was a vacation by comparison. But it is exciting to have football back, and there's just a lot going on right now. And there's already injuries, Andy.
Definitely already a few injuries, I think, that are going to present some really interesting buying opportunities that we need to capitalize on right now, tonight, tomorrow. So definitely you guys are in good hands. We got you covered tonight with all the must-add players and cards you want to add to your collection, because for every player that we talk about and look at their utilization, some of their advanced fantasy statistics, we're also going to talk about what's their gold standard rookie card and which of their cards are we targeting, including pulling up live eBay listings. The Hitman's already sent me several in the private chat that look to be going very undervalued here throughout the stream. So stay tuned for that. Hit that like button, Steve. Let's dig in. I want to start off by talking about your game. You're in Chicago, Illinois. If anybody out there is watching or listening does not know, Steve is in Chicago. Steve, were you at the water-soaked monsoon game on Sunday?
No, luckily I was dry on my couch, but I did see the forecast for the area, and I kind of knew the game was going to be, a little wet and wild action, which it was. And those games can go either way, honestly. But I think historically the Bears play well in bad weather, and went our way. It could have went either way, but I'm definitely happy with the way that it did go. I did have a couple of Bears bets, maybe with a few people in the Discord, wink, wink. But let's see how it goes this week. They're playing a frustrated Packers team. They could start the season 2-0, Andy.
Wow, that would be really impressive. Yeah, the Packers got off to another very slow start, got absolutely waxed by the Minnesota Vikings. I would say what impressed me the most about in this game from the Bears, obviously the leadership from Matt Eberflus, I think, is a big upgrade from Matt Nagy. And Justin Fields actually impressed me with his legs. You guys rallied from being down 10-0 most of that game. You guys rallied off 19 straight points to upset the 49ers in that rain-soaked game. And Justin Fields rushed for 3 first downs and forced 2 missed tackles, and also made that one nice money throw towards the end of the game. I think it was Dante Pettis, right? And it was wide open, got the touchdown, and that kind of sealed the game. And now you guys get the Packers. So currently, do you think it's time to buy some Justin Fields? We talked about him earlier. I think it was last week whenever we were looking at those 2021 rookie ticket auto price, and a lot of his are redemptions. I'm interested to get your thoughts on Justin Fields. Is he overvalued, undervalued? Do you feel that, bias aside, do you think that Justin Fields is a buy right now heading into week 2?
Yeah, I think that he is. And I don't necessarily think that the week 1 game's going to bolster his value just because they won. I mean, neither QB in that game played well. And, that could be because of the weather, could be because both defenses are really good, whatever the case might be. But they are 1-0, and they could be 2-0. And as we do know, winning records to catapult QB values quite a bit. So on that alone, it's worth it. Plus 2021 rookies are still holding their value quite well.
Yeah, so the first card I look at is almost like an entry-level card for me. I see this card is so liquid, Steve. There's so many transactions. You can move in and out of the market so easily with an optic hollow, Steve. For you, what do you consider as the 2021 gold standard for Justin Fields?
That's a good question. I've been I've been vocal about I haven't bought a lot of 2021 QBs, even Justin Fields. So I am a bit hesitant to overpay, as none of them are doing a lot just yet. But the optic, even the base prism prices are still very low. The optic prices you can get, I think, I've seen them go for $10 to $12 for the base. And the mosaics you can get for $8 to $15, somewhere in there too. So if you can get $32 for an optic hollow, that seems like a great price. I mean, what the Burrows and all them go for now, as we were talking about before the show. So it is a good liquid card, and it is a good entry point if you're looking to get into a card that could go quite a bit up in value if he performs well. And it's not going to break the bank if you're looking to get a good investment as well.
Yeah, so I comped the 2021 optic hollows out, and it's pretty interesting to see that, the Trey Lance is down because those cards were selling for about $70 before the games on Sunday. Trust me, I know, I have personal experience with this, but they're now down to about 50. Trevor Lawrence 65, so Justin Fields at 35 definitely is down. I'm under the same impression as you. I love these optic hollows as an entry level card. Now, if you want to spend up and you're looking at potentially a nicer card for you, Steve, if you were to take one step up and say you had $100 to invest in Justin Fields right now, what would that be?
Man, $100. That's kind of like an in-between price, because you can't really get anything autoed yet at 100, right? So I think that some of the serial numbered stuff you could probably get around 100. Maybe like an optic serial numbered or a mosaic serial numbered. You can probably get around $100.
Mosaic serial numbered, interesting. So because the base mosaic, those cards are even like these base like pink camo mosaics. They tend to never really go above. Like I even struggled to sell my Joe Burrow mosaic for $20 when he was heading to the Super Bowl, but you're saying if you can find a serial numbered one, then all of a sudden that's just gonna boost that value up astronomically, right?
Yeah, and if you use the same formula for other rookie cards, you'll see the same thing across the board too. Like you mentioned Burrow for an example. If you compare like even Burrow's optic hollow to his orange out of $299 out of optic, there's quite a bit of a price jump. So if you can get in before Fields maybe goes on a good run, this will be a good opportunity to get a card like that. Not to say that he's going to go to the Super Bowl this year by any means, but you have a young quarterback who arguably his prices could be at the lowest or highest that they'll ever be right now.
What do you think about this field level silver from Select? Now, this year, it looks like to me that the field level silver prisms are more rare than they were in 2020. I remember in 2020 when it felt like they were kind of popping up a dime a dozen. And I can go and look at some of the elite skill position guys from 2020, like Justin Jefferson. And you compare that to Jamar Chase. Like I've seen a Jamar Chase field level silver prism, and I know it's a new product, but it has been out for several weeks now. And I feel like that the field level silver prisms from 2021 are just selling for a lot more. Maybe that's because they're more rare. Steve, what's your take on that? Are they more rare, or is it just still a new product perception? And do you like the design of these 2021 field level silver prisms better than 2020?
I think I like the design better. I do like the design better, but I'm not quite convinced that they are more rare. I think it could just be that the product's new. And I'm looking at Select, not just in football, but if you look at across the board, there's a few other sports. If you're into WWE, for example, Select just came out, first year Select for WWE, and the prices are pretty high on that as well too. So I think that you're seeing kind of like a combination of, first Select cards for some of these guys, and it being like the newest released product at the same time. But I will say this, Andy, I don't remember, Burrow or Herbert when Select came out. I don't remember their field level silvers being at this price right out of the box.
No, they weren't. And that's kind of my thought behind it, man. And I know like right now, like here's the Justin Fields, right? And if I were to go and look at 2020 Jalen Hurts, like I'm not going to go all the way to look at Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert just because they're in another stratosphere. But if I were to look at 2020 Select field level silver, Jalen Hurts, who got a big win. I mean, he really unlocked A.J. Brown out there, showed his legs. I mean, the Eagles are a great team. They're going to be really good this year. I'm looking at on average. Actually, this is funny. This is my card. Full disclaimer, this is my card right here on top. Did not know that my card had 16 watchers. And I bought that card, I think, for 50 or 60 bucks whenever I bought into it. And this was sometime in 2021. Let's just go look, sold. This is today, guys, in an auction for $56. And you can tell that's a scan because it doesn't have the rainbow shine on the front.
Look, and look at the SGC 10, Andy, probably going for around 200.
The same as the Justin Fields. And this picture is terrible. Like, guys, if there's one thing I can't recommend highly enough is to make sure you get your lighting set up right and take a picture of the card outside of a top loader like this. Is creating a lot of reflection. And also, this is just really terrible lighting. If this is a silver prism, you'll be able to tell by looking at the back, which you're going to have to do on this. Yeah, so you can see the silver prism or the prism text there on the top left. But that's the only way you can tell this is silver prism. Like if this is the card that you own, you want to show that off in the little thumbnail on the listing. If you don't, man, you're really hurting yourself because look at some of these other listings. I mean, they just look leaps and bounds. Like, look at that. Look at that Herbert right there, how that just pops. You want to get your picture to kind of look like that.
I think it's a little bit mind-boggling that Jalen Hurts SGC 10 is going for around the same price as an ungraded Justin Fields is right now, given the success that Hurts has already had.
So I see the chat is already going wild over here with the Trey Lance slander. You guys gotta chill out on the Trey Lance slander a little bit, guys. I mean, this was a monsoon water-soaked game here, and I mean, for my stance, I'm for a large part of this game, I'm kind of ruling it out. Like I didn't really, it's hard for me to take a lot out of the utilization, out of the efficiency. Like, sure, it wasn't good, but at the same time, like, they were literally playing in a monsoon, Steve, weren't they?
There was times where it was pretty bad, for sure. But, hey, you know what? That's the NFL. And both teams played in the same weather, and it's just what happens. So, we'll see what happens next week. We can only hope that, both players give us a better idea of how good they really are. You could argue that they can't play to their potential in that weather.
So
we'll see.
Yeah, and the 49ers, I see. So Boggy's saying 49ers 0-2. They're playing the Seahawks at home. The Seahawks just got an incredibly lucky break, in my opinion, because there was like 3 or 4 additional touchdowns that the Broncos should have scored last night, but didn't. And then Nathaniel Hackett went a total knucklehead, didn't have his head at all. Like, at the end of the game, there was Nathaniel Hackett on the sideline, no head, telling him to kick it today, looking back. Oh, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have had them kick that 63-yard field goal. Maybe I should have let my Hall of Fame quarterback go for it on 4th and 5. Are you kidding me? Like, seriously?
I thought that was so dumb.
And of course, Geno Smith is getting a lot of hype, and he was really efficient through the first 3 quarters of that game. So I got to give him that. They're also playing in Seattle. We know that crowd noise plays a big effect. The other knucklehead thing that Hackett did that I never really understood is you have all these new players and new pieces, yet you don't start any of them in the preseason. So none of them had any time to really gel together. And then your first game is in the loudest stadium in America, and it's just that much more difficult. So they had a ton of penalties on them as well. And so that game I kind of throw out, like, I look at that game as something that if Russell Wilson cards are going to dip, like Jerry Jeudy's utilization was great. KJ Hamler missed a big touchdown on a pass interference there that he would have scored on. So like Cortland Sutton had really good utilization. So overall, I think, that there's a lot of promise there. Like, I'm not going to really put too much stock in the Javonte Williams fumble whenever it was pretty much a botched snap to begin with, It's just the whole game, kind of like the water-soaked monsoon in Chicago. Like, yeah, these things happen, and that's what leads to the thought of any given Sunday. But at the same time, when I'm investing into cards, I really got to like think about like what is going to happen the next week and the week after that, like in a even playing field type of scenario. Like next week, right? The Seahawks are going to be playing in San Francisco, right? I think if I saw that right, they're playing in San Francisco. So that's going to be a totally different atmosphere. Yeah, Seahawks are playing in San Francisco. The Bears are playing in Green Bay on Sunday night. So it's just, it's just totally different atmospheres and energy going into these games that kind of change the way the game script goes and the way, things unfold. But from a utilization point, was there anything else that stood out to you? Like Khalil Herbert, for example. Is Khalil Herbert a guy that we should go out and try and add to our collections? He's a guy that I think is kind of popular this week on the waiver wire because you look at his utilization in that game, and he actually split. It was more of a committee between him and David Montgomery. So I want to get your opinion on that because Khalil Herbert is a second-year guy, so he definitely has the youth thing going for him. He's also showed to be more explosive. Like from what I see on film, Steve, Khalil Herbert looks more explosive than David Montgomery. So I'm wondering if it's just a matter of time that Khalil Herbert takes over, and I maybe want to stash this guy pretty cheap right now.
Yeah, that's the thing is if you can find some deals on this stuff, it's a speculative grab. Even in fantasy, it's more of a, his value hinges on an injury to Montgomery. The thing is in the rain game, he did bust off a couple longer runs, whereas Montgomery did kind of get all the work, but not as much production. And a lot of that has to do with Montgomery's more of a cutting back versus a straight line runner. And if there's one thing about watery ground is it's pretty hard to change directions on. And you kind of saw that. So, again, that's another thing that we'll be looking at this week. I can't get behind paying $50 for a guy who's a backup running back. He does have good potential, but I think that he's just buried, and he'll be buried for quite a while longer, at least until Montgomery's done.
I'm loving so there you go, guys, and check it out. I've got look at this Chronicles Revolution Lava SSP numbered out of 10 that went for $11 plus $5 shipping today, compared to like an Optic Bronze. So if you had to pick between these two, this one's apparently numbered out of 10. This one's autographed Optic Bronze, but it costs probably, I'm guessing this offer was accepted probably somewhere around 30 and 35. That's wow, this card was a really good deal, wouldn't you say?
I like that green velocity though. That's it's sharp. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I don't
so
know,
very cheap.
$50 for an auto. I mean, I can't say I don't like Khalil Herbert. I mean, kind of have a obligation to, but as far as an investment goes, I think if you're dropping $50-$60 on an auto card of his, you're really kind of limiting your growth potential in that aspect. If you can find some serial numbered stuff, maybe around $8 to $10, you'll be primed for if he starts down the road. But I just don't see how you can make money in the near future if you're paying $50-$60 out of the box.
Yeah. All right, Steve. I'm loving the chat over here, guys. If you're just hopping in, go ahead and smash that like button for us. And guys, let's move on to the injury report. We've got some big injuries this past weekend, Steve, that could lead to some big opportunities for some other players. Guy that is right on top of that, Asher here, posting it up in the comments. Dak Prescott fracturing his thumb Sunday night against the Buccaneers, and he's going to miss 6 to 8 weeks. And he was not off to a good start. And you could attribute that to the pressure that the Bucs front seven is still able to put on opposing quarterbacks, the poor offensive line play from the Cowboys, and the fact that their receiving core is just lacking depth, man. Like behind CeeDee Lamb, Noah Brown. Where was my guy, Jalen Tolbert? He was getting the red shirt treatment. He was a healthy scratch, Steve. A total L for me last week was buying Jalen Tolbert rookie ticket autos, telling you guys to buy Jalen Tolbert rookie ticket autos, even though they were really cheap. And the good thing about football cards, you could stash them, right? But still, a healthy scratch inactive, total shocker to me. But it is what it is. And now Dak's out 6 to 8 weeks. Steve, what do we do, man?
They didn't put him on IR. They're saying that he'll be back in 4 weeks. So hold your horses on that. And I would tend to believe him. If they're not going to put him on IR and make any trades at this time, I think that it's probably safe to say that he'll be on the lower end of the estimate than originally thought. So I think it's safe. I think if people are offloading Dak, it's still a good buy. You can see how much he misses Amari Cooper. If you looked at the splits from last year, when Cooper was not present, actually his QBR was much lower. So he's going to rely on, some of his veteran guys coming back. And right now he's got some other injuries. So he's kind of in the same situation Aaron Rodgers is in, where he's got kind of like a skeleton crew around him. And he's going to need a few weeks to adjust.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because their market is the biggest in the NFL. So as they rise up the fastest because their market's so big, when they don't play good, you heard their fans. They were booing him. They were straight booing Dak Prescott. I mean, he literally had a 47.2 quarterback rating in this game. Atrocious efficiency, 14 for 29. But it was not only that. His yards per attempt was only 4.5 yards per attempt. It was a combination of him not having time and him just not having receivers open. Like, there's nobody behind CeeDee Lamb. Like, Dalton Schultz is probably his best receiving, because you just take out CeeDee Lamb, who wasn't really a true alpha to begin with, and you just block him out, and Dalton Schultz is really the only guy. Maybe Noah Brown, who's like an undrafted dude who's like, already in his 5th or 6th year, kind of like a journeyman. And I mean, there's nobody else really there. So I honestly can't touch anybody on Dallas right now. I'm looking at this division, and they're playing the Bengals. They're playing at home again, but you're looking at Cooper Rush starting against the Bengals. This is a bad game. I think the Joe Burrow is out. He's got a chip on his shoulder. We know what Joe Burrow does with a chip on his shoulder. Plus, that Bengals defense is good. Like, they kept Trubisky. And you saw a very quiet day from George Pickens, Deontay Johnson, and they put pressure on Trubisky. He wasn't able to do a whole lot. Like, really, the Bengals should have won that game if it wasn't for all those turnovers. And they even, the kicks is just ridiculous. Some of these kicks that were missed on Sunday, just like the back and forth there. But, I mean, the Cowboys I'm looking at could potentially be going here 0-2. 0-3. I mean, it's not a good start to their season. I'm kind of out, to be honest with you. That's my take right now, is I'm out on Cowboys players for the foreseeable future this season.
Yeah, I think around the time that you get Dak and Gallup back, you'll see something from them, but they're going to kind of start the season in a hole, which really tanks your playoff potential. So I wouldn't be too high on those guys. But again, like you said about stashing rookie cards and stuff like that, I mean, the hobby is not just this season, and it's not just the first few weeks. So if there's guys that you're into and you see their values in a hole, it could be a good time to get in.
Are there any quarterbacks out there that Dallas could potentially trade for to start in the interim over Cooper Rush, who's just absolutely terrible? Is there anybody out there that they could potentially trade for to start that would see a big boost in their card value because of it?
Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton, interesting.
And I say that not just because I like Andy Dalton, but Andy Dalton played for the Cowboys, so he.
Oh, that's true. So he could go back there, and obviously Jameis Winston, very efficient game from Jameis. Like, they started off slow, they had to rally in that game, but it's okay because he did finish very strong in that game. Big game from Jarvis Landry, Michael Thomas. You see it right here. Shout out to our man Late Stick. He's been on Michael Thomas all season. I've got some Michael Thomas cards. I've got them priced pretty high apparently because I haven't gotten any offers on them yet. And I know he's one guy that is going up, and maybe he could continue to climb some more. Steve, are you on Michael Thomas at all? I'm looking at his 2016 product. And you know what's so lovely about that year in the card market is that this was the first year that Optic was made. So I feel that that's got a nice little kind of bonus to it, kind of like the first year Prism or first year of any product has that little collection bonus to it.
I will say that I think that set is very underrated. I think it's an incredible looking set too. The new Optic is still kind of growing on me. I do think that year is one of the better looking ones. You don't have quite as many parallels, but I think that kind of enhances the appeal in my opinion. But yeah, I don't know. I think that I'm not in on Michael Thomas, honestly. I think that he didn't look as flashy as before. I think he did make 2 touchdown grabs, which is great. But I think that everyone that's watching this, that's been holding for a while, it's been looking for that window to offload. Here's your window, and I would start offloading.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I'm seeing his prices go up a little bit, but I've got to think there's a lot more juice to squeeze out of this right here because $31 for a base Optic PSA 10. It did get 10 bids. It ended at some point today from Probstein, but man, that's like really cheap. Still numbered out of $199 for 2016 product. Like, they're obviously selling. You can see all these buy it now transactions today. I'm sure this was happening yesterday and the day before, but 2016 product compared to Dak. I mean, Dak has, over $100 Prism rookie card. If we look at other 2016 guys, like let's talk about Derrick Henry on the Tennessee Titans, who lost to the New York Giants, man. Brian Daboll got some balls, Steve. I'm not sure if you recognize that, but Brian Daboll's definitely got some balls there going for the 2-point conversion. Saquon showing up big time. I don't know, man. I got to ask you, because I watched this game and I saw some of these runs from Derrick Henry, and I'm like, man, he got knocked off his feet. Like he's getting old, man. Basically what I'm trying to say is he did not look rocked up and as rock solid as he has in years past. And honestly, I'm a little concerned. Like, I've been talking about, the writing on the wall with selling him because he's over that 1,500 carry mark. But I think I'm starting to see this come to fruition from this game on Sunday. What's your take on that?
You could be right. You could absolutely be right. And, it could just be that there's some stability issues, stemming from the injury healing, or it could just be that there's conditioning. It is the first game. They say get your football legs under you. That takes a couple weeks sometimes. But there's also the chance it could just be that, he's getting to that other side of the age apex and the downward turn is happening. So I think more than likely it's a little bit of the football conditioning and a little bit of the injury recovery thing. So I don't know if you've ever had what was it, Achilles that he had?
Well, it was a foot injury. So I think he like fractured part of his foot. It wasn't an Achilles or any ankle or anything. It was his foot.
I can't say from a specific aspect without knowing what the injury was, but I did have some issues with an Achilles in the past, and I can say that when you have a foot injury, there is definitely some stability issues. Just even, when you're getting up or getting out of bed or whatever, and you got to put all your weight on it, it's not quite all there. So it could just be that that's part of the recovery process. So I think we'll see. I think it's too soon to say after one game, but definitely reason to be concerned if you're, investing in the guy.
Yeah, man. I saw him get knocked off his feet, and I was like, that is not the Derrick Henry that I'm used to seeing. You could see the value difference here between the Titans and between Derrick Henry and Michael Thomas here. I mean, Michael Thomas is less than a third. And, of course, right, more target competition for Michael Thomas now with the rookie Chris Olave, with Jarvis Landry. But still, those two contested touchdown catches are definitely going to do good things for him throughout this week. But let's move on. We were talking about the Tennessee and the New York Giants game. We know Saquon's coming out of this week as one of my most hyped players, but we got to talk about the usage here from Kadarius Toney. The guys want to know what was the usage like. We saw Sterling Shepard have a big touchdown this game. Kadarius Toney flopped. I mean, it's like the usage is just not there. And we were talking about this. We talked about this before the season start, and it's just, so Wan'Dale Robinson didn't start this game. Kadarius Toney was oddly used on only 6 plays, placing him 6th on the depth chart. That's odd, dude. It's,
Yeah, here's the thing is I watched Dable on the sideline screaming at people, and if you're in the doghouse, probably not going to play. So there's probably something he did to earn him that, that lack of playing time. So, as the season pans out, he'll clearly be playing more than he is now, but I don't know. If I had a lot of money tied up in him, I would be concerned.
Yeah, I mean, because he only gets 7 snaps. It's one thing when you're like Allen Robinson, you were on the field almost the entire game, or even DJ Moore. We could talk about DJ Moore in just a second. He didn't have a good game, but he was on the field virtually the entire game. But when you're supposedly supposed to emerge as an alpha wide receiver, yet you only get 7 snaps, not even routes run, targets. Like, he only got 7 snaps and only ran 3 routes, 0 targets. He did get 1 carry. I mean, that's just total. Like, you cannot buy into that usage. You cannot touch him. Like, he's a guy at this point who is just, you got to stash him on your bench, or if it's in your collection, you just put him off to the side of that cardboard box. You have him listed to buy it now. But I mean, obviously he's so young. You don't take low ball offers unless you just way overextended yourself, right? You got to make that money. That's why some people do, of course, auctions and take that money when they can and run. But otherwise, you're stashing this guy in your collection because the usage was absolutely terrible there. Honestly, outside of maybe Daniel Jones at this point and Saquon Barkley, there's nobody on the Giants for me to really get excited about. I like Sterling Shepard, but he's getting older. He's another 2016 rookie, and he doesn't exactly have the same Hall of Fame score as Michael Thomas. So he's just going to be super cheap moving forward. What's the Giants' upcoming schedule, Steve? They're playing this week the Panthers. So they're playing at home, but they do get the Panthers. This is going to be a fun matchup. Robbie Anderson had the big game for the Panthers. Christian McCaffrey should have had a much bigger game if it wasn't for a couple of those botched snaps from Baker Mayfield, and the center Baker Mayfield exchange there for the Panthers wasn't so great. There's a few plays that Christian McCaffrey could have had much better. But in terms of waiver wire ad, that Tennessee wide receiver depth chart as well, it leaves a lot to be desired. And, week one. So we're just picking up clues. But when we look at the utilization from them, is there anybody on the Tennessee Titans that's worth picking up right now? Or are you kind of out on those guys as well?
I don't know how to say the guy's name. It's like Ikeni or something like that. He's got like 3 names, but he's supposed to be a big part of that offense. So eventually they're going to spread the ball around a little bit. So I would not be completely out on any of those guys yet. But
Nick Westbrook-Ikeni saw the second most snaps on the team behind Robert Woods. So Robert Woods got the lion's share of the snaps and targets. I should say not targets, but routes run. He ran 26 routes. Believe it or not, Kyle Phillips, who is an interesting rookie prospect there for the Tennessee Titans, saw the most targets with 9. He ran 21 routes. But Nick Westbrook-Ikeni only got 2 targets. So, and actually Treylon Burks got 5 targets on 13 routes, but he only ran 24 snaps. So still, from a utilization standpoint, Treylon Burks is 4th on the wide receiver depth chart. For me, he's my favorite guy to invest in there because he's got the draft capital. He's got the youth on his side. He's just such a mega star from Arkansas that I have the most confidence buying him low in this little dip here for the Titans. If they do, I've already looked, and one thing that I want to touch on real quick is the new release schedule for 2022 products, Steve. It's been pushed out big time. Prism Draft Picks is not coming out till November now. Select Draft Picks is not coming out till October. So the product that's out right now, the Legacies, the Prestige, the Mosaic Draft Picks, these are going to be the premium, most liquid sets for 2022 rookies, and they can be flipped. They can be moved. I don't think Donruss is going to be coming out until December, January timeframe. So Panini is still very much behind schedule. Once again, it looks like they're shifting to this new release schedule model, which is something very unique that we have to deal with here in football cards that you don't have to deal with in fantasy. You just pick the guy up, put him on your roster if that's the case. But that's why this is the card wire and not the waiver wire show, Steve.
Yeah, I'm not feeling the release schedule, to be honest with you. But either they know what they're doing or they have some serious issues with production right now, and it's going to cost them money, realistically. People are throwing money at the product that's out right now, and when they have delays, they're just delaying profit, basically.
So, man, this is very interesting. I got to go and look at what Daniel Jones cards are doing because, to be honest with you, I sold my Daniel Jones. Shout out to, I think it was Andy Austin. I made a deal with him on Instagram. Sold some Daniel Jones, got out. Could have held them for another week because you can see here, prices are up. They're very cheap. So easy for the card to go up when it's only a couple dollars, right? Like a Prism, which we know is the most liquid. You could see it's had the most sold transactions in the past 30 days, PSA 10 format, currently at $39. So really, they're going to have to string some more wins together. People aren't just going to go out and start spending a ton of money. But look at all these buy it now transactions at $40, current trend. $40 here across the board. So that's up from Sunday, September 11th at 8:50 p.m. There's an auction still at 31. So people are kind of getting more excited about Daniel Jones throughout the week. Steve, is he a guy you're buying into? They're playing at home against the Panthers this upcoming weekend, who lost in a narrow game against the Cleveland Browns. I don't know, man.
I don't know. I got some pushback when I was saying buy Daniel Jones a couple of weeks ago, but it just takes winning a few games, right? It just takes winning a few games. And they're off to the right start. We talked about what going 2-0, what going 3-0 can do for our QB's values. Let's be honest. The Giants are kind of like the Bears in the way that they win. It's not fashionable. It's not the way that the Chiefs win. It's not the way that the Buccaneers win. They're usually ugly, right? You win ugly, but it's a win. And, he's not going to be the guy that throws for 400 yards. He's going to perform serviceably, and maybe with enough tutelage of the Daboll era, he could be a star again. Maybe not superstar, but playing in that city, he doesn't have to be.
I'll tell you what, man, if Saquon Barkley can stay healthy and really bring defenses in like he did with Tennessee, I mean, it is going to be very good for Daniel Jones. It's going to help him out a lot. Like, Kadarius Toney's not going to help Daniel Jones. Saquon Barkley is going to help Daniel Jones. I mean, Daniel Jones still took 5 sacks in this game. He still threw an interception, but he managed to go 17 for 21 and 188 yards. And that's all he needed to do, and threw 2 touchdowns. And that's all he needed to do because Saquon Barkley did the rest, right? So I don't know if they're going to have such an easy time against just like better opponents. I'm out on the Tennessee Titans a little bit. They really underwhelmed a lot. I mean, Ryan Tannehill left a lot to be desired. Dude, I don't know, man. I think it's going to be hard for me to buy into Daniel Jones, but I can't say I'm somewhat tempted because I do think they could beat the Panthers here in week 2. And it kind of hedges my bets against the cards that I bought for Baker Mayfield last week that I still am just getting. And he didn't beat the Browns. It was not a total revenge game, although he did have a nice touchdown pass to Robbie Anderson. There were definitely a lot of rust in that game. I mean, it was just like, I don't know if it was opening game nerves or if it was just the pressure that Myles Garrett and the Cleveland front 7 was putting on him. I know he didn't have much time, but I mean, it wasn't great. I mean, look at the utilization from DJ Moore. DJ Moore only got 6 targets. Robbie Anderson 8, Christian McCaffrey 4. The time of possession was also dominated by the Browns in this game too. And their run game, they just couldn't stop it. You couldn't stop Nick Chubb. You couldn't stop Kareem Hunt. And Jacoby Brissett was actually serviceable in this game, and man, they were able to pull it out. So I think it's going to be a close game. The Giants versus the Carolina Panthers this coming weekend.
No, I agree, but I could honestly see the Giants winning, and Baker, although he played all right. The rest of the team didn't really play that great. McCaffrey could have played better. Again, it's not any one guy's fault, I don't think. I think that, it's his first game with the team. So it's not going to be perfect, right? It might take a few weeks to put it all together. So if they're going to lose a couple games early, I don't think anyone should be really surprised by that.
So Geno Smith, Steve, moving on to this Monday night game. I see a lot of comments from you guys here in the chat about Geno Smith. Shout out to Seahawk BRN. If Ramrod's out there, Broncos is out there. I mean, this Seahawks Broncos game was just, oh man, that was difficult to watch for the Broncos at the end. Of course, you had Geno Smith really coming out. I mean, I love his comment at the end of the game in the post-game press conference when he was like, people wrote you off, and he's like, I didn't write them back.
I thought that was really cool, honestly, and I agree. I mean, who would have saw that, right? And I was never a huge advocate for spending a lot on his stuff, but he was the starter, right? And I actually did link a rookie ticket auto in the Discord the other day. I mean, for $12-13, whatever it ended up going for, I bet you could sell it for, I don't know, 80, maybe 100 right now. I don't know what they're going for today, but for sure more than what it was a few days ago.
Yeah, I mean, there's actually transactions for Geno Smith before a few days ago when there just weren't any. Here you can see it's actually headlined by this none other than the rookie ticket auto, brother. Gotta love that, seeing that rookie ticket auto on front page here of $100 or $500 on Sunday of a PSA 10. It's like boom, and that's because he did not throw his first incompletion until the second quarter with less than 5 minutes left. He went 17 for 18 on 164 yards and 2 touchdowns. He and that was the first half. And ultimately, he went 23 for 28 for 195 yards and still the 2. Recorded that one big-time throw, an impressive 85.2% adjusted completion rate, and an 80-plus Pro Football Focus passing grade on first review. So, I mean, the Broncos' defense was bad. I'm not going to lie. Like, their defense also didn't help them out at all. Like, the defense was just bad. So, that definitely helped Geno Smith out. I mean, there was not really anybody that stood out to you or at least to me, on the Seahawks offense besides DK Metcalf. Rashad Penny had a couple nice runs in there. It was good to see him healthy because we know what he's capable of. So I'm sure that Seahawks fans are getting hyped up about Geno Smith. I got to go pop over to eBay here and see what else is popping off for Geno Smith.
Yeah,
are you buying in?
I think Penny only had 10 carries, but he had like 6 yards a carry. So, I mean, they won the game, so it's hard to argue with the way that they coached it. But you could argue that Denver blew the game. Realistically, I mean, the game was theirs for the taking, and they kind of didn't play up to their potential. So, I think it is what it is. I think the most obvious blunder is the choice to kick a record-setting field goal at the end of the game rather than go for it.
Oh, yeah, which Nathaniel Hackett immediately regretted today. It's like, duh. You know what's so telling, Steve? When we talk about here 2013 product for a second, we're going to go back here, 2013. What is so telling that the rookie ticket auto is just one of those timeless classics that's just such a great set to invest in for any year, any player. You'll love this big gold rookie card logo at the bottom right, the on-card autograph, the team logos, the ticket theme. I mean, this card is just wonderful, and here you are seeing it. Boom, people are dropping the money, $300, $200. We saw the $500 PSA 10, and then there's these smaller transactions, top strata, just a couple dollars, like people with that entry-level budget range. But ultimately, what I'm seeing here, Steve, is kind of like all over the place for a guy like this, but definitely a priority on these rookie tickets. With I would say an average sale price of around $50 here. Like these tall boys, look at this 2013 tall boy that went for $47 in a buy it now today.
When we talk about hype cycles and things like that, I mean, look no further than a card that most people wouldn't have touched with their best friend's bankroll, just a few days ago, and now they're moving. So that just goes to show you, it's when you talk about who to buy and who not to buy and all that, it's all speculative on what someone else wants to buy, right? You shouldn't be buying to flip what you want to buy because that's for your PC, right? You should be buying what someone else is hypothetically going to buy. That's the card you should be investing in.
Yeah, I think Geno Smith, in my personal opinion, Steve, just kind of wrap this up with a bow on it. My personal opinion is that Geno Smith's little window here, his little hype, is going to be very fleeting. They've got the 49ers this weekend in San Francisco. That's going to be a tough game after 49ers are going to hopefully get some good weather, and they're going to be happy to be at home, and they're going to be coming out to get revenge, and their defense, as we know, is very good. Let's see a much better, well-rounded defense in San Francisco go up against Geno Smith and the Seattle Seahawks in an away stadium and see what happens. I mean, if some chance he pulls out a miracle and is able to beat the 49ers in their house, then, okay, you're going to start seeing these prisms from 2013 go up to 2030. You're going to start to see some even bigger transactions. The thing is, those rookie ticket autos, they're going to disappear very quickly. They're going to get pretty pricey pretty quick. But all these tops products from 2013, they're going to continue to be out there, be available. Even the Prism from 2013, the Select from 2013. This is the first year that the modern day Select was made. So I love that entry level there for Select from 2013. Really like that, Steve. But Geno Smith, ultimately a guy that I'm staying away from because I think that by the time the card gets to me, I'll already have missed my window to kind of sell high on him.
No, I agree, and this is why we talk about different things other than eBay sometimes, because, like you said, if you were buying into Geno Smith a week ago, you may have just gotten the card today, or maybe you'd get it later in the week when it's going to be hard to relist it in time for this Sunday. But sites like ComC, where you could buy it and relist it in an instant, for example, might have been optimal for a play like this. So there are pros and cons to all the different storefronts you can do. And Geno is just an example of high risk, high reward. When asked this question a few weeks ago, I said the same thing. It's high risk, high reward. If he had a bad game, you'd see a lot of people with some poopy pants diapers, frowning in the chat right now. But hey, you know what? Sometimes these dart throws pan out, and when they do, it feels good, because not many people are willing to make that play.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Not many people, except our guy here, Peyton. Shout out to Peyton Speltz. Actually, it looks like Peyton's maybe one of those guys who sold the Geno Smith rookie cards, the second round draft pick from West Virginia out of 2013. Didn't really have any standout numbers from college at all. He's now 32. He does run a 4.59, so interesting athletic metrics that, he showed a little bit of mobility there, but I mean, just never the guy hasn't really played a full season since 2014, but even then, as a second year player, less than a 60% completion percentage, never really put up anything impressive there. So not ultimately a guy that's got a long way to go for him to really climb in value. Like 2013, give me a Travis Kelce, give me a DeAndre Hopkins. I'm sure I could probably buy into them for not a whole lot more. Like if I was looking at a guy that's got a much higher merit score, I'd go and look at 2013 DeAndre Hopkins, even though it looks like the Cardinals are not going to be good when D-Hop comes back in week 7. It looks like they may have a pretty bad record, Steve. Definitely concerned about that Arizona Cardinals franchise as a whole right now, kind of avoiding anybody on that team not named Eno Benjamin, baby. Let's go.
Speaking of poopy pants, like I said, I as far as the hobby goes, I was definitely in on buying Kyler, but I think you can see now that just because the man got paid hasn't changed a lot. He still looks kind of lost out there, kind of hangover from the playoffs last year, and you got to start wondering if maybe the locker room is not in on him.
Wait, locker room not in on Kyler Murray?
Yeah.
Well, we knew it, man. We knew that it was very tumultuous. We knew he had leadership problems. We knew they had a difficult schedule, starting off with Patrick Mahomes. That's why I was telling people, man, I could not get on board with the Kyler Murray buy. I wanted to because he's such a good athlete. He's so good, like deep ball completion, led the NFL last year, and you combine that with his mobility athleticism, just off the charts. But lacking the leadership, lacking a favorable schedule, good coaching, not a fan of Cliff Kingsbury. And man, they're missing DeAndre Hopkins. It showed. Like that was the first note I made. I was like, them missing a clear alpha wide receiver is clearly hurting them big time. And they were just outgunned. Patrick Mahomes clearly not phased at all from the loss of Tyreek Hill. He's like, no, Tyreek Hill, it's fine. I got Juju Smith-Schuster. I've got MVS out here. I've got my man Travis Kelce. Those are the guys I need. Plus, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, a lot of people are getting hyped up on him, and you saw him kind of peg in my my charts, but it's still, to me, the guy there that I would want to own if he had a card would be Isaiah Pacheco, because he's younger, he's more explosive. He also got the bulk of the opportunity in terms of the rushing opportunity, and it's just a matter of time before Clyde Edwards-Helaire goes down with another injury, this and that, and he just underperforms or fumbles the ball. He's just had a litany of issues, and I see a lot of people buying into him because he got the 2 touchdowns, buying into the touchdowns, right? They're buying into those highlights, whereas I'm actually buying into the usage there. If I could, like in terms of fantasy, I've got some decent exposure to Pacheco. He doesn't have any rookie cards, so I can't Can't get any there. Hopefully Panini kind of gets something for him here. Maybe they have all this time to get out select draft picks, Prism draft picks. Maybe he'll be in one of those sets. But Steve, another waiver wire guide for you in terms of a quarterback this week. I've got a few names that might be on the waiver wire that may also make good card investments. I want to get your take on. Shout out to all you guys in the chat. We're talking all things card wire, guys that you want to add to your collection this week heading into week 2, and how that differs from the waiver wire fantasy football, kind of molding the two hobbies together here. Steve, what do you think about Carson Wentz in the Washington Commanders? He was top 3 fantasy scoring quarterback this week for the Commanders, baby.
You know, I'm definitely a little torn on the issue, but if he keeps playing that way, I think it's just a matter of time before the hobby has to show respect and his cards go back up. So, I mean, he hasn't rolled both ankles simultaneously yet, so that's a positive. But, I mean, if he keeps playing that way, it's going to be hard to ignore. He's going to start winning you fantasy weeks potentially, and also make you a couple bucks on the side.
He's a guy that plays better with a chip on his shoulder too, and I mean, especially after you come off of the year that how he finished with the Colts last year, and basically getting fired from the Colts. You can see what his 2016, another 2016 rookie year. So a guy that's got a few years of age on him, but he's a quarterback. He's also just one. They also have a very favorable matchup here, or I would say favorable matchup, but I mean it's a solid matchup to where they could win. They're playing the Lions. They go to Detroit. The Lions actually, I mean, they held their own, but they did have to rally. Like the Eagles were putting a pretty good beating on them, for the most part of that game. And now the Commanders with Carson Wentz, who just balled out against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now we could look at this and say, okay, but it's the Jacksonville Jaguars, their secondary, not great. But I don't know, man. I mean, I see how good Terry McLaurin is. Jahan Dotson made some incredible contested catches. Curtis Samuel, surprisingly, was the target leader. He was a guy that earlier in the offseason, I was like, yeah, I'm buying Curtis Samuel because he's so athletic. Look what he did before with the Panthers with Kyle Allen as his quarterback and Brandon Whedon or whoever was his quarterback during his time at on the Panthers, and he put up like 1,400 yards in like his rookie season. He's kind of been plagued by injuries, but he's still pretty young. He was actually the target leader on Sunday with 11 targets and with a touchdown. Then you had Jahan Dotson getting the 2 touchdowns, McLaurin getting the 1 touchdown, and ultimately Carson Wentz looking like a hero there, putting up 32 fantasy points, 4 touchdowns. Did have 2 interceptions, but still very, very solid outing. Is he a guy that you're buying into now going into Detroit? Detroit this weekend at 1:00. If Carson Wentz goes 2-0, you look at this 2016 Prism here at PSA 10 too of only $100.
See, I think that he is a buy, but again, at the right price. So, just because he had an outstanding week 1, don't go breaking the bank. But if you see some stuff that's got some meat on the bone or room to grow, absolutely, especially if it's Prism, Optic, rookie ticket, any stuff like that. QBs, we love all positions, especially on this channel, but we know that the QBs have a special place in the hobby, and not just Wentz, but a couple guys from that same time frame that might be on your waiver wire in Goff and Winston as well.
So Jared Goff, another 2016 rookie quarterback, 2016 product, the number 1 overall draft pick. Carson Wentz, the number 2. So very interesting, closely correlated. You can probably compare these two guys, and I think that would be a good idea. So look at a raw Prism, Carson Wentz. For you, Steve, is the 2016 gold standard the Prism? I mean, like, are you just going straight to the Prism? If you're buying into Wentz right now, what would be the play? Are we going straight to Prism or Optic, or are you trying to maybe look for something? And I guess this all depends on like your budget, right? What do you feel comfortable with, and make sure you go through that sold comping process. But What's kind of like the gold standard there, Steve?
I mean, these guys are still cheap enough right now where you can get like base optics, in a 10 grade for a reasonable price, and you can get the optic hollows even at a 9 or 10 grade for a reasonable price. But if either of these teams starts looking playoff bound, you could be looking at a good flip, honestly, for either one of those guys. And again, these are guys that you look at where their prices were last year, towards the end of the season last year, and you could have got these, let's say a base prism silver or a prism silver for either of those guys for under $5. You know what I mean? And now you're talking probably at least 20 for Goff, maybe 15 for Wentz.
Yeah, so the trend on Goff for his Prism PSA 1070, you can see that's down 13%. Carson Wentz is up 12%. So there's the direct correlation from performance, exceeding expectations plus getting the win. So it's performance or production over expectations plus a win, compared to Jared Goff. Yeah, maybe he was good for fantasy this past week, but ultimately his team did not get the win here. And that was definitely a hit. And now they're hosting the Commanders. So another big matchup here for Goff to either rebound. We had great utilization from Amon-Ra St. Brown. DeAndre Swift had almost 10 yards per carry in this game, totally balled out. Jamal Williams got a couple goal line touchdowns. Chark. I love the Lions offense. The offensive line did pretty good. But that Eagles secondary is going to be a big problem. James Bradbury with the pick 6, but the Eagles secondary, combined with their above-average linebacker play, their exceptional defensive line play, and then on the other side, Jalen Hurts, baby, A.J. Brown, man, Devonta Smith, who didn't get used a lot in this game, but that's just because they really focused in on A.J. Brown, some Dallas Goedert, and then you sprinkled in all their running backs between Boston Scott, Kenneth Gainwell, Miles Sanders. You sprinkle those guys in, and Jalen Hurts rushing the ball. And they were able to get, a nice W here starting out. And my question to you, Steve, is if you had a choice between buying a $100 PSA 10 Carson Wentz Prism or buying like 2 Optic Hollow Jalen Hurts for $50 a piece, but they're raw, which would you go with?
I don't know, probably the Hurts, just because I think that, they have a better shot at going to the playoffs and maybe even beyond.
Yeah, I do too, man. I think with the Cowboys floundering, I think the Commanders are going to struggle defensively to stop guys like the Eagles, and the Eagles defense is going to be very hard for Carson Wentz to get past. So I think that those kind of matchups they're going to lose. I think the Eagles are in a prime spot. I look at the rest of their schedule for the rest of the year, and it's just very favorable. They have one of the easier schedules in the NFL. And now that we've actually seen them put this kind of production on paper, let's see what happens Monday night, because this is a massive week 2, right? The Vikings win week 1 against the Packers. We talked about that game a little bit, but we can talk about it some more, because I think Kirk Cousins could obviously be on an ascension here if they just steamrolled over the Packers that easy. It was just a beating. We know Aaron Rodgers likes to start off slow, but did you see that play? Christian Watson dropped a 75-yard touchdown wide freaking open, and he just dropped it, man. And you just see the disgust on Aaron Rodgers' face. He was just so disgusted. So I would not expect a whole lot from Christian Watson moving forward. And he even said today on the Pat McAfee show, he's got to figure out a way to just feed the crap out of A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones. And those are going to be his guys, man. Maybe some Robert Tonyan, but the Sammy Watkins story did not happen. The Romeo Doubs actually was probably the best looking receiver out of all of them. The Randall Cobb, he's dust. Christian Watson, he's going to fall out of favor real quick with those kind of drops. And ultimately, it looks like they're going to just revert to trying to slow the game down, keep the ball out of hands of guys like Kirk Cousins, who, has got Justin Jefferson and nobody can cover. Like, can you imagine if Rodgers had Justin Jefferson? But, he doesn't. And that's the big issue with the Packers this year, man. And, man, I think Kirk Cousins cards, like Monday night, this is the thing. Kirk Cousins has struggled historically winning primetime games, struggled so bad, dude. Do you think he beats the Eagles on Monday night? They're in Philadelphia. Monday night game this week, week 2, in Philadelphia, Vikings-Eagles.
I don't know. I got the Vikings, man. I know that that's been a popular topic on the channel lately, and I think that this is just the year for them, honestly.
So at what point, like, boom, here you go, guys, snipe opportunity right here for you. Auction ending tomorrow at 11:10 a.m. on a Prism, because these 2012 Prisms just don't continuously pop up. I mean, they're actually pretty scarce. Or what about a Topps Chrome Refractor from 2012 for only $20? Buy it now, $480. I still feel like that's very favorable when you look compared to Russell Wilson. Of course, Russ has got the Super Bowl ring, the second appearance. His Hall of Fame score is leaps and bounds higher than Cousins. But this could finally be the year for Cousins. And if they do figure out a way to take down this NFC North, man, watch out, guys. I mean, Kevin O'Connell, I think, man, this is big for the Vikings here. I'm excited what I saw week 1. And I think week 2 is going to be massive. If they win this game against the Eagles, whoever wins this game, I think it's going to be massive for their cards, because it's a primetime game. Both teams are 1-0 right now. They both have been question marks around these quarterbacks for different reasons in the past couple of years. And so this is like, we're building, we're stacking those dominoes. We're stacking those cards for like a big just wave of demand to flood the market for their rookie cards.
I think that if the Packers were to lose to the Bears this week, which they very well might, you're going to have Aaron Rodgers on the phone with Will Fuller saying, "Get over here. We need you, man." Because the receivers just look bad. I hate to say it, but they did.
I think someone got him a deal. Like, would you spend $100 right now on a Kirk Cousins rookie ticket auto?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't see why not. I mean, if you look at comparables, I mean, there's guys that have no business going in that same price range from the 2021 class, going for multiple times that. So I think that's a good investment.
Great point, man. Great point. And I talk about scarcity differences. From when I went back to 2012, look at their rookie ticket autos, there's literally only like 7 different cards from that set. I mean, when you talk about their rookie ticket autos, so it's the scarcity is just insane. So I think that makes for a very interesting case. Russell Wilson, yeah, look at that. I mean, someone's probably been holding that card for a while. They took 115. 120. This may be the same card, so he probably didn't sell it then. Somebody didn't pay, and he's like, no, this is my window for Kirk Cousins. I am not doing that. I'm relisting, and immediately sold it, took an offer, trying to make some cash. So that was, I think, a great deal, 115 on Cousins. And, you could always hedge your bet by coming back with Jalen Hurts. Buy one of both of these guys. I wouldn't say Jalen Hurts is rookie ticket autos, because now those Jalen Hurts rookie ticket autos are probably, they're probably $300. Would you say, Steve, if you had to guess? Let's see.
At least, if they're not 4. I think I saw them closer to 4 last time I looked.
Let's see, closer to 400. So, man, dude, kicking myself. Okay, so yeah, I guess it depends on the variation. But this was also September 11th, base optic for $250 in an auction. That's the reward you get if you end your auction Sunday after a game and you got it right. There's the wild card for $560. So yeah, I mean, look, here you go, Steve. Yeah, this is the one you were talking about right here. $515. Buy it now. Somebody snatch it, because these things, they're not that common. Like, Contenders Optic is a hobby only product. You buy a hobby box, it's a box of 6 cards. And your hit rate on these are not that high. Like, there's a big checklist. So You go and let's. Oh, I must have put in the wrong copy paste here.
And don't forget too that the football hobby is a growing hobby, a quickly growing hobby. So I mean, if you're thinking about what players people are getting in on, if they're watching, this channel or other channels, like they're going to be looking at rookie ticket autos. There's only a set amount of the cards, and if the hobby continues to grow, just remember there'll be less of these available.
And look at that, man. And this is ultimately why I say list your card in a one-touch case. I've said it, put it in, nice little edited YouTube videos. I'm also telling you guys here right now live, you're new to selling cards. This little one-touch case right here adds value. Look at this. Prime example, Steve. Auction closes for $240, $250. Buy it now right here. Somebody cashed in for $415. Remember when these cards were going for $180 earlier in the summer? And kicking myself for not buying. I guess at this point, if I had to get in Jalen Hurts, I can't go for the rookie ticket autos anymore just because that's out of my budget comfort area. But I wouldn't mind spending $100 on something if I could get an optic hollow Jalen Hurts, just because I know how liquid these are and I know how the hobby's growing. And I think that you could probably still get these for like cheaper than a Trey Lance, cheaper than Trevor Lawrence. Like $80 centered there, and it's in a one touch
there for an SGC 10. That's a good buy, honestly.
How much for the SGC 10?
116 in auction, it looks like.
116, man. So yeah, these cards are just undervalued. That's undervalued right there. Maybe this probe scene has something to do with it, but that, to me, that right now still presents some nice value because I look at Joe Burrow. I watched an auction for Joe Burrow's optic hollow today in for $200. The Justin Herberts are now going for $300. The Tuas, if we were to compare Jalen Hurts to Tua, they're really neck and neck, man. These are two guys that are very neck and neck. Here it is, $6,250. $6,250. If you ask me, Steve, and I'd like to ask you and all you guys out there in the chat, I've been starting up some comments. So if you guys wanted to ensure that your comment is whoa, we got to get 69mega.com out of here. Didn't realize we had that kind of stuff going on in the chat. Sorry, guys. But if you guys want to make sure that your question or your comment gets popped up to the top, of course, we got that super chat feature where if you put the super chat in for whatever amount, it does pop it up right to the top. Like it's just like big bright lights in my face and everything. I have to pop it up. And of course, we appreciate your support here on the Quest. So I'm going to pull up a 2020 optic hollow to see what he's going for. I mean, he's just got an incredible supporting cast, buoyed by Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. Chase Edmonds is a guy that I've got written down here for my running back waiver wire pickups. Steve, is I think Chase Edmonds, from a utilization standpoint, Derrick, from a utilization standpoint, Chase Edmonds is an absolute baller. It looks like he's going to get a big role. I mean, he's got about a 75% opportunity share within the running back department of that offense. And, they cut Sony Michel. It's Chase Edmonds, Raheem Mostert. Raheem Mostert literally, is as fragile as Elijah Mitchell, but not as quite because Elijah Mitchell is already hurt with the knee injury and is going to be out for like 8 weeks. And I'm like, there goes that play. But, hey, man. But look at this. Tua optic hollow cards the same price as Jalen Hurts. Which one would you rather have?
They're pretty close to me, but I just think that I've got a lot more invested in Hurts already. I did sell a lot of my Tua stuff a little bit earlier on, late last year, but I've had a lot of Hurts that I bought like when nobody was buying Hurts that I've just held on to. So I'm hoping they get off to a good start here so I can move some of that. But I don't think Tua's. I know that Carter's not big on Tua, but I don't think that he's bad. I just don't think that he's bad. He's not maybe superstar potential, but he's definitely not bad. And he's on a good team that has a good defense and it has good skill position players on it. That's the kind of guy you would hope to have an investment in, rather than a guy that's good on an awful team that might, maybe not go up for a long time. So.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that is true. And I think they're so comparable. Like, right, obviously Tua doesn't have the athleticism that Jalen Hurts has, but he does have better accuracy numbers, and he's got like a very good defense, just like the Eagles do. And they've got great supporting cast on the offense, just like the Eagles do. So it's going to be interesting to see what these two guys do, one in the AFC, one in the NFC. It just so happens, though, that Tua is in the AFC with Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, and all the other incredible quarterbacks in the AFC. Patrick freaking Mahomes, like, I mean, the Chiefs are going to be right in the thick of it in the playoffs again this year. I mean, after everything, I don't know. I mean, obviously it's just week one, but we've got a lot of clues, and Patrick Mahomes is like, I mean, he's so good, man. Some of those crossbody throws and those underhand throws and stuff is just insane. But I see how he gets himself in trouble and why the Bengals were able to force him to make some mistakes, because he doesn't like step up in the pocket like a lot of normal quarterbacks. A lot of times, like Patrick Mahomes does this thing where he like turns around and almost runs backwards and then turns back around to run forward and like make the throw. And it's almost, I'm like, whoa, what do you do? Like, he doesn't do like a sidestep and keep his like face forward downfield like Jalen Hurts will, or and it's a lot of other quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes does this little thing where he turns backwards to run quickly and then get away and then make his throw, which a lot of times he gets away with. Like, he was blitzed on over 52% of his dropbacks against the Cardinals and threw 4 touchdowns against that blitz. And he balled out. He had like 144 quarterback rating in this game. So, we'll see if he can continue that going, then he'll be fine. But what is going on? Derek has just opened up the floodgates over here for bots to come into our chat, I think. But I'll take care of them. Don't you guys worry.
Hit the button.
So let's talk about are there any other running backs? So I just touched on Chase Edmonds. I bet you his prices are still super cheap. Like, I can't really, I bought a little bit of Kenneth Gainwell, and he did get a touchdown. He did have some usage in this game, but there's just such a running back by committee. There's going to be games where he doesn't get much, and he's going to be really touchdown dependent. Ultimately, I want a guy that's going to get a lot more opportunity. So I'm looking at Chase Edmonds as an interesting guy that I may want to invest in for the upcoming weeks, as I think Miami is going to do pretty good behind Buffalo in that division. I think it's going to be Buffalo, Miami, New England, and then the Jets. Unfortunately, Boggy, Jets crazy, Jets fans. But even when Zach Wilson comes back, I don't think he's going to be able to play any better than Joe Flacco. And I just don't think – I think the Jets have – their coaching staff is too young. I think a lot of their players are too young. They need more time. I think the Jets are still a couple years away from being ultra competitive. And ultimately, I'm looking at this Miami upcoming schedule. The Ravens this weekend at 1 o'clock. So this is a much better test for the Ravens. Like, I felt like Lamar had his way a little bit against the Jets secondary, especially in the second half. Devin Duvernay, your boy Devin Duvernay, getting 2 touchdowns. I know Boggy's happy about that. It was kind of bittersweet for him because he's a big Jets fan, but Devin Duvernay with the deep targets and converting. Like, it wasn't a massive utilization. Like, I look at the snap share from Devin Duvernay, but the targets and the quality of targets were incredible. Like, ultimately converting those into 2 touchdowns, like nice touchdowns, was really cool to see. So this is going to be a much better matchup because Miami's got a lot better secondary, and they'll be in Baltimore this weekend. So that'll be a fun game because Baltimore is going to put that heat on Tua.
I wouldn't mind seeing the Dolphins not necessarily overachieve, but just do well. I think because so many people wrote them off, even with the whole Tyreek Hill thing about the whole underthrow videos in the preseason and all that nonsense. I mean, like, I think that you just kind of had to know that they were going to come out trying to prove people wrong. And, this is going to be it in the making here. They historically do well against the Patriots as it is. I mean, who realistically in that division is going to, hold them down?
Look how cheap the Chase Edmonds rookie ticket auto cards are, man. And it's so crazy that he's one of two running backs in that backfield that can be relied on. Like, look at the snap share from Chase Edmonds. He split offensive snaps with Raheem Mostert, but he dominated snaps on third down. He gained 25 yards on 12 carries and 40 yards on 4 catches. It's only a 2-man backfield. The Dolphins didn't have any goal line opportunities, but the fact that Chase Edmonds was used just as much as Mostert in short yardage situations is good for his touchdown potential as well. And, hey, I'm looking at the usage, and I'm looking at Chase Edmonds as a must-start guy that is also a must kind of add guy to my collection at this point at these prices. Especially if Miami's going to go on a little run this year. If this is the year, this could be the year for Miami to make a nice little run behind Buffalo, maybe snag a wild card or at least string some more wins together. Ravens, though, big matchup week 2, man. So we'll see.
I think if you can get Chase Edmonds rookie ticket autos for under $10, that's a no-brainer. I'm still not sold on the utilization of that backfield. I think there's just a lot of mouths, and it's not really. They keep saying he's going to be the focal point, but he hasn't really done a lot with the work so far. So I think it's too early to say. But I mean, for under $10, it's a no-brainer. If he does put a campaign together, it's a win.
All right. I've seen a couple questions that I start up out here for Joseph, but I wanted to touch back on the injury report here quickly because I think there's 2 more massive opportunities this week, Steve, for wide receivers based on the injury reports. Steve, who do you got? You got one? I got 2 of them.
For waiver wire pickups?
Yeah, waiver wire, card wire pickups. Guys that are probably on people's rosters. These are guys aren't on the actual waiver wire in your fantasy leagues, but they're very low. They're very cheap in a football card market, and so they need to be on the card wire. We're on a card wire, baby. We're going to add these to our collection.
Yeah, I think that both of these guys that I'm thinking can be found very cheap, and they're on teams that could surprise people this year, and I'm going to go with DJ Chark and Jarvis Landry. I think, if you looked even prior to the start of this year, I mean, Landry rookie ticket autos, I think were like sub $20. I don't know where they're at now, but, he appears to be the focal point of the offense. And I don't think that changes because he had a down turn with Cleveland, although that super team they put together didn't turn out to be much of a super team at all in Cleveland. But he's Odell Beckham-esque in his athletic ability. And he's kind of been like slept on for a lot of his career. So if they become pass centric, which it looks like they're going to be, he could quietly put together a, Pro Bowl type season, and it could just be sitting right there on the waiver wire and your card wire.
Jarvis Landry, $6.50 on card autograph, 2014 Topps Chrome. How can you beat that, man?
And the guy's a great route runner.
Oh yeah, he is. He's such a good route runner. In my opinion, he should be on everybody's collection. I've got a couple of these Topps Chrome. Like, that's not my card, but I've got a couple of these. I actually paid $15 for, and if they've gone down any of that, like if you can find a 2014 autograph card, let's think about this. I'm not saying he should ever be at Mike Evans' value, but think about this. Jarvis Landry's or Mike Evans' 2014 rookie autograph cards are $100 plus. Easy. Topps Chrome autograph, $100 plus. Jarvis Landry, $10 or less. Are you kidding me? It's insane. Like, just from a usage standpoint, 7 passes for 114 yards in this game, 20 fantasy points, showing just a massive snap share, big target share, already a good chemistry with Jameis Winston. We're going to see him continuously utilized. He's super tough, durable. He's very passionate. I love his personality, his likability. He's back on his home team as well. He has all those roots in LSU and New Orleans. So, this is a great spot for Jarvis Landry. And I think he's like kind of in that final prime of his career. So yeah, I love the play there because the NFC is pretty thin when you think about it, man. And I mean, if it looks like it's between Carolina and the Falcons put up a fight in this game, but between Carolina and New Orleans, it's going to come down to probably them behind the Bucs for the NFC South. And New Orleans always gives us trouble, man. And we're playing them this weekend. So, I mean, there's going to be a big matchup. And it's kind of a revenge narrative for Jameis Winston against Tampa Bay. So don't be surprised if you see a lot more Jarvis Landry, more Michael Thomas, maybe some deep plays to Chris Olave, which, whew, man, that kid is good. From a rookie standpoint. But I love the play, Steve. I was actually thinking the other side of that ball, right? Chris Godwin started the game Sunday night against the Dallas Cowboys, but we saw how Julio Jones was utilized. Julio Jones got the jet sweeps. He got a couple of deep targets. He got targeted in the intermediate sector. Like, he actually had a lot bigger snap share and target share than I thought. I also found out that he was on the TB12 diet now. So maybe all of a sudden, like Jameis had, a year ago, oh, wait, why is he playing so much better now? Oh, he got LASIK surgery and he can see now. Maybe Julio Jones is all of a sudden not going to get injured as much this year because he's on the TB12 diet. I'm not saying that this stuff is actually like connected. Maybe it is a little bit, but ultimately maybe it's just like Tom Brady sat him down like, dude, if you come to the Bucs, we need you to play. I don't know. And there's a chance that Julio Jones sees this as his best shot to get a ring that he's ever going to have. And this is probably his final year as well. So he's like, let me go out on top with Brady. I'm with the best of the best. I got to be on the field. And I think we're going to utilize him a lot, especially now with Chris Godwin is definitely going to be out for the next 3 to 4 weeks. We didn't really see anybody else step up too big. Like, he didn't give a bunch of targets to Russell Gage in this game, only a couple. Leonard Fournette's a total bell cow. So I would definitely get some Leonard Fournette in your collection. Like, he's a guy that's just grossly undervalued for whatever reason. And maybe it's the Jacksonville Jaguars uniform that he wears in his rookie product, but buy Leonard Fournette in all formats on eBay, autograph Leonard Fournette stuff. Just do it. And then Julio Jones, man. I'm just seeing Julio Jones prices too cheap, dude. 2011 rookie product. Julio Jones, a Hall of Famer, and he could go out on top big time this year with Brady. And the utilization is there for the next several weeks. Like, Mike, they're playing the Saints. We know historically Marshawn Lattimore is always put up against Mike Evans, and that's always made for some really entertaining TV. Watch for Julio Jones to straight up gash the Saints here in week 2. I'm just saying, like, watch out for some more big Julio Jones games. And I don't think the hobby is really reacting to his week 1 performance as much as they maybe should be. For me, he's a big buy right now.
I think you nailed a lot of important points. I think one that maybe not a lot of people might think of, and that's his injury history. But what is it in particular about his injury history? He's had to be leaned on as the focal point of the offense and just fed the ball every single drop back, which isn't the case. They're so deep at receiver that he can be flash utilized almost like a Cordero Patterson, right? And be extremely effective in limited usage. And that's going to be a key to him staying healthy the whole year.
Yeah. And like I said at the beginning of the show, some of these guys are not going to be on your waiver wire. And that's the difference between the card market and your fantasy football leagues is that, some of these guys are already, they're definitely on rosters. Julio Jones is on everybody's roster, but I would not be surprised if he was probably only started in 50% of fantasy leagues last week. And a lot of people had him on their bench, and they will be starting him this week. And there's also a little appreciation here in his cards, but not nearly enough. Like, I'm looking at 2011 PSA 10 Bowman Chrome going for $53 on Monday. That's undervalued, dude. This is a 2011 rookie card, Bowman Chrome rookie card of a Hall of Famer, Steve. So I gotta find some more better comparisons from this draft class. who else from 2011 can we compare him to? Like, I'm not Andy Dalton, like somebody good, maybe Cam Newton.
Well, while you have that those images up, I will say I know that like the tops and the tops chrome get like all the love from those sets, but I really like the Bowman chrome from those years. I think they look really good.
It's more rare too. Definitely more rare. They have the two variations. There's the short print variation right here where he's got the hands up to the left catching the ball, and this is the initial variation, the base variation. But yeah, man, I love it. Gold trim. It's a thicker card as well. And I've got a few, like I've got a couple, look at this. I've got the 2 Mark Ingrams right here. I've actually had these in my collection for quite some time. But there I've got the 2 Mark Ingram cards right there in my collection as well. They're nice cards.
Heisman pose.
Yeah, man. They got the Heisman Mark Ingram pose and the one where he's catching a ball. So they're nice cards. And yeah, I mean, obviously clearly undervalued. The other guy is going to get a lot more people, a lot of you guys, a lot more excited. Are you ready for this, Steve? Injury report. Keenan Allen, hamstring injury. Keenan Allen's going to miss a couple weeks, Steve. Guess who the Chargers are playing Thursday night, brother? I'm looking at you right there, guys. The Chiefs. The Chiefs on Thursday Night Football. 2 1-0 teams, just like Monday night. Vikings, Eagles 1-0. The Chiefs stomped the Cardinals. The Chargers put a whooping on the Raiders at home in a confident win where Justin Herbert spread the ball to 7 different receivers, 4 targets for each of them. Gerald Everett had a big game, but it is Josh freaking Palmer that you want to get in your collection right the you-know-what now, because this guy is about to go off. There was a big play in this game that he was not able to convert, that Justin Herbert got too much pressure in his face and had to throw the ball away, where Josh Palmer would have had like a 60-yard touchdown. He totally dusted the Raiders corner on a double move. And if you go back, like I pull it up right now, we get demonetized, but go back and watch the Josh Palmer film from this game this past weekend against the Raiders, because he's about to melt people's faces. Mike Williams didn't assert any type of alpha dominance. This is going to be Josh Palmer coming out party on Thursday night, Steve, and I am here for it, brother.
I would love to see it, man. I really would. And I know a lot of people in our community have gotten in on the Josh Palmer hype. You know, I was in on some of his stuff a bit, early between, you and I, but this is an offense that's pass heavy, very, very pass heavy. And, he did see there was a few other people that got some looks after Keenan Allen went down. But again, we're talking about one game. We got 16 more games to go. This would be the equivalent of a normal NFL season before they added the extra game.
Yeah, and look, I got to recognize DeAndre Carter. But you know what I'm saying? Josh Palmer was already the clear number 3 wide receiver behind Keenan Allen and Mike Williams heading into the season. That was over Jalen Guyton, over DeAndre Carter. All right, and so this was Josh Palmer played 24 snaps in the first half compared to 2 for Jalen Guyton. DeAndre Carter was the direct replacement for Keenan Allen in 3 receiver sets, but this is the big but that people need to understand. Both DeAndre Carter and Josh Palmer saw significant playing time out of the slot after Keenan Allen went out, and Palmer took every snap in 2 tight end sets after the injury. Every snap, compared to none of the snaps prior to the injury. Palmer should be the biggest beneficiary because of the increased usage in 2 receiver sets that the Chargers like to deploy. So, this is my guy, man. I'm going to keep going back to him. Plus, he's got the draft capital, the day 2 draft capital from the Chargers. And we know what he's capable of in the contested catch arena. Give me all the Josh Palmer here, man. In 2021, I was looking at this one. I was actually looking at this one earlier today. I was curious to see what it ended at, $34. That was an interesting card design from Select. This is some very interesting designs from 2021 Select this year, Steve.
I think it's important to remember, like, we look at certain games and we apply this rationale, and then look at another game and don't apply the same rationale. So, like, in game A, let's say Curtis Samuel was the target hog, like not McLaurin. So, like, you're not selling all your McLaurin and going out and buying all Curtis Samuel, right? And in this case, like, just because Josh Palmer was maybe out targeted in the limited amount of time he was in the game doesn't mean that he's not still the buy. You see what I'm saying? Like, each game is going to be different. You don't know who's guarding him. It's just, there's so many complexities that you have to look at. And yeah, his prices have gone up since we started plugging him. And that's bound to happen because you look at the preseason he had. But I do agree with you. I do think that he should have a big week, should Keenan Allen miss.
Yeah, and I think it's a pretty much a guaranteed right now. Or Keenan Allen's doubtful, but hamstring injuries are not something that I want to play with because you can aggravate those and miss extended time. So those are my that's it, man. Those are my biggest like buys this week based on the utilization report for potential waiver wire pickups or potential guys that are low owned or guys that have been on people's benches. Is there anybody else that you want to add to this, Steve? This has been a fantastic live stream. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. I hope you guys have had fun with us tonight. I see a couple questions here. I've got start up, but before I get to those, is there anybody? Oh yeah, AJ Green. That's a good one, man. Joseph hit on one. I'll pull up some AJ Green stuff, Steve, while you.
AJ Green. I mean, talk about a guy that didn't necessarily play with Hall of Fame quarterbacks, but managed to just shine year in and year out. The guy's still in the league nonetheless.
Yeah, he is, man. He is. And he was out there a lot. He was out there a lot against the Chiefs. I still do think he does have a lot of that, what they could call Kenny Golladay running around out there like a mannequin. Like, I feel like AJ Green does look pretty stiff out there. A lot stiffer than Julio Jones. But let's compare him. Let's compare him real quick because Topps Chrome, AJ Green. Now this one is looking left, ball chest.
That percentage change on AJ Green. What happened there?
I think it was just because, okay, so this is the last month, right? And look at the previous auction here ended Sunday, September 4th for $20. And then one ended just yesterday at $7.19 for one bid for $58.99. I think this just goes to the scarcity of that card, Steve.
And that has to do a lot with the poses because we know Topps like there are different poses for scarcity. I see a lot of Mac Jones chatter in the chat. He's a guy that could miss this week too. So
back spasms.
Could be seeing some Bailey Zappi, who sounds like a Madden create a character. But he legitimately could be starting this week.
Messiah just trying to find something to pick on because he knows you're in Boston, Derek, and Derek knows Messiah's in San Fran, and they love to pick on each other about their second-year quarterbacks. Steve, was there anybody else that because I've got a few questions I've got start up here. I'm gonna see if what Roberto's got.
I would say if you held on to your Marlon Max too long, there is this is the last chance perhaps with him signing with the 49ers this afternoon. Talk about on a team that really needs some help at running back. Could be his chance. He might actually hypothetically get us started.
I'll tell you what, I like Marlon Mack better than Jeff Wilson. Marlon Mack, we know it, but we know he's done it at the NFL level before without Jonathan Taylor, but him not being able to win the job over Dameon Pierce and just not even being able to earn like a running back by committee type of role in Houston was concerning. But the fact that 49ers picked him up, man, Kyle Shanahan can do wonders with running backs on their way out. So don't be surprised if we get a Marlon Mack blow-up game here on the 49ers. That's pretty big news, Steve, honestly. That's like the best case scenario thing that I've heard happen to Marlon Mack. Did he get signed to the starting squad, or is he just on the practice squad?
Good question. Let's take a quick look here.
Yeah.
Speaking of people named Mac, how about Khalil Mack?
Oh man, him and Joey Bosa are going to be such a problem for defenses or for opposing quarterbacks, and that's what's so exciting, man. Is that Thursday night? Like the NFL has literally got us right where they want us, man. Because I mean, talking about all those close finishes, the primetime games, and now we're getting Thursday night. It's like, wait a minute, guys, don't get complacent or comfortable because we're going to keep you on the edge of your seat. We've got the Chiefs at the Chargers Thursday night. Oh man, that's so exciting, dude. So it's just another very exciting Thursday night game.
So I looked into it. Someone had already beat me to it in the chat. He was signed to the practice squad. So again, that doesn't necessarily mean he's not going to play, but he's there. He's not a free agent, right?
Yeah. So Roberto Romero had a question earlier. He's got a few Saquon cards that have gone after this week. Do I sell those and buy a Trey Lance Panini 1 RPA or hold as they go up within the next 3 weeks? Steve, for me, it kind of depends on the Saquon cards that you have. How common are they and how much profit could you realize in them now? But also, look at the Giants' upcoming schedule. We talked about them playing the Panthers at home this week. I like it because they just got gashed by Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. And I think Saquon's going to be another massive player in this game. I mean, dude's healthy. He's getting all the targets, all the carries. I mean, it's just there's no competition really in that offense for Saquon. It's going to be the Saquon show until he gets hurt again or something. So, I love it. I think he's going to keep balling out, man. So I'd hold those and roll the dice.
I mean, he looked pretty maniacal out there. He looked like he was having way too much fun running over people. So if he can stay healthy, I mean, it's going to be interesting. I haven't been big on him over the last few years simply for the reason that he can't stay on the field. So you do have to take that into consideration. But if he stays healthy, weigh your risks out of where are you on the card? Did you get in low? Do you have some room? Or did you buy in for a tenth of what it's going for now? You may want to just move it. So there's a lot of things at play.
Yeah. In terms of Roberto, I had another one about Trey Lance. They've gone down to nice prices. I do agree. I'm with the buy low guys here on Trey Lance, and maybe this is a fact I already bought a couple last week that you guys are going to see here upcoming mail day. I do think that Trey Lance is, for me, has got arguably the most potential from these guys, just with the whole supporting cast and the whole team scenario with San Fran. So I do kind of hedging my bets and maybe buying some at a little bit lower even this week. If I look at just those optic hollows, for example, if they go down below 50 or below, I really like that price point a lot, Steve. So I'm kind of buying that dip.
Yeah, I've just been kind of looking out for deals on some of the 2021 QBs. Or even just players from the 2021 draft class in general. But as far as the QBs go, I haven't bought a ton, but where I do find deals, I'm still trying to get in. If these guys don't, perform well by the end of the year, you will see a heavy adjustment on their values. And, people paying, you're going to start seeing what I've been talking about when I say that I think, Lance's cards are overpriced or Trevor Lawrence's cards are overpriced. I mean, a lot of them are going for more than or equal to than Herbert or Burrow cards, or in some case, Tom Brady cards. And you got to ask yourself, at what point is it madness, right? And it's just hype and not actual value, right? It's just so much hype that once they don't pan out, what's the reality? What's the price of the card, right? So weigh that in when you're investing in some of these guys. If they don't pan out, where's the floor? Where's the ceiling, right? Because if you're paying $1,000 for a rookie ticket auto and they have a bad year, you might be looking at $350, or you might be looking at $200, right? Where can it go up from $1,000? That's what you have to ask yourself.
Yeah, and like that fits in perfectly with Andrew G's question here. I mean, dude, I don't know which players you're talking about, but there's going to be players that are going to continue to drop. There's definitely going to be guys that continue to drop, man. Keep following, stay tuned to the channel. Every week, I what I'm doing tomorrow is, now you guys have seen me earlier this week, put in a formula, basically turn their expected fantasy production, which we know is derived from on-field production, what that was, turn that into a negative number to take away from the actual production that they had, to basically give myself a picture of who exceeded expectations the most, right? And then I also add in a 3-point bonus if they won their game, and a negative 1 to 3 point bonus depending on how bad they lost their game and depending on what position they play. I feel that it impacts quarterbacks more when they lose than skill position guys, i.e., a guy that's just going off like DeAndre Swift for the Lions, or DJ Chark or Amon-Ra St. Brown, that their values are going to continue to stay buoyed, and there's going to continue to be elevated demand just because they're that good of athletes and they put up that good of highlights, right? Even if their team loses. So there's always those guys. Cordell Patterson did it again, man. Did it again this past weekend. So there's always those guys. Whereas a quarterback, I mean, they can play as good as they want, but if they're not winning games, then a lot of that blame is going to be put on them ultimately, and the coaching staff. But they're going to be out of MVP consideration and like player of the year type of awards and stuff like that. So, there's a bigger deficit for losing games, like a bigger penalty for losing games in my hype index for quarterbacks. So, so what I'm doing tomorrow is now looking at what's week 2 expectations. All right. So now I'm adding another column. What's week 2's expectations compared to what they actually put up in week 1? Now we have week 2's expectations. Let's keep this hype index rolling every week to see who moves up and down. So, there's going to be guys that continue to drop, continue to underperform, continue to lose, and there's going to be guys that continue to overperform, continue to win, and skill position guys that just continue to overperform and climb in ADP. Look at Cooper Kupp last year. Him and Deebo Samuel were both 5th, 6th round guys in fantasy drafts. Now they're 1st, 2nd round guys. So that's the whole thought process there. And you saw a clear increase in their values over that time, with a lot of undulations and spikes on a weekly basis, depending on how their team was doing, that kind of thing.
And it can be anybody. It can be a defensive player. It can be a receiver. Just about anybody can see, major price fluctuations, but especially with the quarterbacks, because, you can have a bad year. You might not be the starter anymore. And that's going to be a bigger price fluctuation than if you, let's say, have a down year and then just maybe get traded or something like that. So I will say, since I know everyone loves the Trey Lance debate, I got a little heat for saying that the Niners might be a 500 team this year. Let's say it was rainy. I'm going to say that their defense is outstanding. There's no taking away from that. But saying that Lance will win a Super Bowl before Burrow or Herbert, that's to me a bit outlandish.
I can't go there. And I do agree that Lance is on a leash. I mean, it's not the tightest leash, but it's definitely a leash. I think only Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch know how tight that leash is. They do have Jimmy G lurking. He is lurking, but I think rule out week 1, guys. I think we've got to realize that this was let's see what happens in week 2. Let's see what happens in week 2 at home against the Seahawks. If Lance doesn't put up some pretty decent numbers and lead that team to a win, now we really start to get concerned that he would get benched for Jimmy G. But they spent so much on that guy. He's going to have a longer leash. He's going to get the opportunity. And I've seen him execute these plays. I mean, just from a rushing standpoint, from an arm standpoint, he's going to push the ball down the field more than Jimmy G. Jimmy G's average distance of target or average distance of throw is like under 10 yards. I mean, Jimmy G has never pushed the ball down the field. Trey Lance has got a good arm. He can push the ball down the field, take advantage of Brandon Ayuk and these other guys. And I mean, so I'm waiting for just good weather. Let's get an even playing field here and see what he can do. And you could see him totally rebound this weekend against the Seahawks. I'm just saying, it's very polarizing. So it's a fun story. It's one of the most polarizing, fun storylines in the NFL to watch. And you guys in the chat are like, perfect, embodiment of that polarizing storyline. So I love it.
Hey, but you know what? This is what makes not just fantasy sports interesting or football interesting or the hobby interesting is you have polarizing opinions, vastly polarizing opinions. And, you have people that think Lance is the next big guy, and you have people that think that he's not, and you have people that think that Burrow's the next Brady, and people that don't think that, and, or Khalil Herbert's better than Montgomery or whatever the case is. And there's endless discussions to be had. And I think that that's what makes even the off season, as we proved, ever going, right? There's always something to keep this ever going. And I love it. I mean, we have so many topics we could go through. Monsoon skip,
baby. That's what it is. Monsoon skip. I'm skipping it. We're getting a fresh start this weekend for the Bears again, Sunday night against the Packers, and the 49ers Sunday afternoon against the Seahawks at home. Let's go, man. I had one more question from Joseph London, who is fairly new to the hobby here, about Bowman University being as big as Bowman First Cards and Baseball's example. Is it good to invest in players that are in Bowman University that are still in college? Now, if they're still in college, that's a caveat that I would tend to say, okay, now let's talk about it. But otherwise, I'm going to say no, because from what I've seen, Steve, they've just been totally drowned out by the legacies, the prestiges. I mean, even potentially score is going to drown out. It just didn't catch on like I think a lot of people thought it would, but that's okay. Guys still in college, though, Steve. What do you think?
I'm hoping they do a bit better next year. I think that the Bowman First concept I like it. I like it for baseball. And I think that they could do better by including the player pool, the entire player pool, which they missed on this year. There was guys I was looking for that weren't there. And I feel like if you're going to do it, you got to do it the same way that baseball does it. So maybe this will be a mulligan. Maybe they'll get it right next year. But I'd love to see them do it and actually have the proper, at least most of the college player pool in there.
Dude, appreciate the positive vibes there, Card Vibe. We have a legitimate fantasy football question in the chat. Love it, Michael. Oh, even though you have a really creepy clown face in your profile pic, but it's okay. Michael says, how much fab would you spend on Marlon Mack? Let's assume he's got a $200 budget. This is what I would say, Steve, that the chances of like Marlon Mack actually panning out to where he's going to help you win your league are pretty low. Like there's really only like a couple players each year. Last year was Elijah Mitchell and maybe Cordell Patterson that you could have got the waiver wire early that helped you go on to win your fantasy playoffs. So I would say Marlon Mack has a pretty low chance, Steve. So I wouldn't spend personally. I would not blow more than 20% max of your fab budget. So maybe $10 or $20 if you have $100, $30 if you have $200. What do you think, Steve?
I think there's enough guys out there that are like legitimately guaranteed to play this week that people are going to be going for that you could probably get them for $1, honestly, or $0 if your league allows it.
It's possible because, like you said, he's signed to the practice squad, so technically he's going to still have $0 next to his projected fantasy output this upcoming week. So, hey, there's definitely a shot for you to pick him up cheap. Plus, you've got other guys that are being picked up, like Khalil Herbert. Running backs, you could have Zach Moss. There's going to be some tickets in on Zach Moss. There's going to be tickets in on Jeff Wilson Jr., who already has the running back 2 job locked in on San Fran, and had it after Elijah Mitchell went down this past week. So yeah, I would not spend more than 10 to 20% max on that. It's very early in the season, and you definitely want to kind of play it safe there, man. But yeah, no, it's a great show, Steve. Great Cardwire episode 1. We've got some new graphics and some other new sound effects and stuff like that. We're gonna up the production value of this show going throughout the season. But we both love the idea because Steve just peaced out. See you, Steve. Man, didn't even say bye or anything. What did I say? Did I say something else about Justin Fields? Like, I thought we decided to Oh, he's back. Oh, he's back, Steve.
Hit the wrong button. My bad.
I thought I said something bad about Justin Fields and peaced out.
No, man. I was trying to pull up some eBay snipes for you. I wasn't sure if we were going to exit the show with a couple of those, or if we were running out of time. Or
oh, you have a couple more eBay snipes for tonight? Ooh, you guys are in for a treat. Some
people
are already dropped off, but it's okay. There's still 31 people out there, so let's give these guys a treat.
Yeah, let's see what we got here. Refresh. All right, let's see. Yeah, I know a bulk of the here's this is reasonable. This is reasonable.
All right.
Not a high grade, but we talked about now I've seen the 9s and 10s of this card going for a lot tonight.
Let's go, Steve. Let's go, man. You reading my mind, brother. I might not share this. No, I'm joking, because it's a good card. It's a good card. Would you say this is the gold standard from Lombardi Lenny from 2017?
Yeah, I think so. The one that holds the most value or retains the most value for sure. Just a good looking card too. And
did you see that? Or sorry, Steve, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, like, in the off season, when they were talking about his weight gain or whatever, I mean, that card could be had for. I got a couple of them in the off season for like sub $5, right? So it's just a no brainer. I mean, now that he's back and running people over again, it's just a good time to be in on Lenny.
Did you see that forearm that Micah Parsons he clocked him in that face on that one play? It was Leonard Fournette was laying a block on Micah before he bumped him at the line before he went out to run a route, and he clocked him good, man. Micah wasn't like fully looking. He was like trying to take an inside path, and it was a little heated Twitter debate because PFF posted that it was a pancake block from Leonard Fournette. Because, I mean, he caught Micah Parsons clean in the face with his forearm/elbow and literally knocked him flat on the ground, dude. I mean, it was a big play for Lenny, just like a really good highlight. You guys got to go look up Leonard Fournette pancake block on Micah Parsons. And then PFF posted it, pancake block, and then Micah responded like this whole paragraph of, why people need to disregard that play because he wasn't looking and this and that. And Leonard Fournette posted a meme of, Michael Jordan with the tears in his eyes. It was hilarious, dude. Like, I love Leonard Fournette, man. He's the man.
I didn't see that clip, but you know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of when Maurice Jones-Drew blew up Sean Merriman on a block. I don't know if you remember that, but that was one of the nastiest I've ever seen from a running back.
So this PSA 8, I would crack from a slab. I'd buy it, and at what's the shipping? Probably the only thing that kills this thing is $4 shipping. But I'd buy it because this card's gonna look great raw, a little bit off center. You can see here, but you buy it. This is a scan. It's really a silver prism, and you put that thing in a one-touch and list it raw for like $19.99 with a plain white envelope, $1 shipping. I'd be able to sell that down the stretch some point this year. Let's see what else you got for me here. Oh, another one. A different looks like. Oh, no, it's a Shark. Oh, okay, sweet. Yeah, DJ Chark. Great utilization. Also, great one-on-one contested catch for that touchdown, for one of the touchdowns in the Detroit game on Sunday. Love to see that. Yeah, DJ Chark is another guy I love investing in. He's such a baller. And this is really just like a stepping stone place for him. Like, he's a great long-term guy because he's still really young and he's on a 1-year prove-it contract in Detroit. They gave him a deal to kind of get back on his feet. And this is kind of like a stepping stone for him to go somewhere. I mean, he could land on the Packers next year or the Chiefs or, a team like that people get really excited about.
Yeah, I sent you a couple good ones there. I think a lot of them are ending in the next handful of minutes here.
$6.50. I like it. I like the price point. Oh, okay. Wow, you may light me up over here. See what else you got. I've been looking at
Even better price
another
point.
shark. Oh wow, yeah, look at that.
At this
An
point,
hour
you should just buy both of them for that price.
$1. Okay, what else you got? See what you've been on to, Steve. Let's see what else you got. Okay, CMC.
Oh, I think that one just ended. Yeah.
Oh, just ended. A 9 for 30 though. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad at all. His game on Sunday should have been a lot bigger. I think he'll have a much bigger game this Sunday.
Wait till you see the price of this one, Andy.
Oh man. 10 autograph Blue Wave at a 149. Oh man, I'm a sucker for that wave design. PSA 10. That's going to be super low pop.
I don't know if you have noticed, but any of the Prism cards with the wave design have massive problems with print lines and stuff like that. Centering and is just generally awful for Prism, but the print lines are historically bad on the wave cards. So I'd be willing to bet that's a really low or what's it called? Pop count for that card.
Yeah, man. Awesome snipes. You know what? I see some comments here. Bush Leaguers, Derrick. Let's do a draft, man. I got big news, man. So I've been talking about Steve, and you've been a big part of this, and all of you guys out there. I cannot thank you guys enough because we hit the 100 new signups mark before the start of the season, like literally the last day of it. I don't know which one of you guys. I've got a report coming that actually shows me. I have to like sign an NDA and stuff like that, but a report coming shows me who's signed up, and so I can actually enter you guys into the giveaway. Because I actively now the challenge is I'm like, guys, Prism draft picks doesn't come out until November now. Like I need a hobby box that's coming out sooner, so I'm working with them over there to get some product that's already out, so that we can do that giveaway very soon. But yeah, congratulations to all of us, man. Thank you so much, guys. UnderdogFantasy.com. We did it. We got to 100 new signups. You see the logo in the top left. We are affiliated. We're not sponsored. They don't just give us money to promote their brand. We get incentivized for new signups only. So it's a nice little, side bonus to help the channel. Plus, it's very natural fit. Like every week I'm playing daily fantasy. Every, season I'm in multiple fantasy leagues. And that's what all started my passion for really getting into the entire player pool and the entire, league of NFL. It's like following all the teams instead of just following my Buccaneers. When I started getting into fantasy football and like circa 2010, that's really whenever I started following all the teams and the entire player pool and wanting to understand all of it, versus just caring what was going on with my Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So yeah, man, super excited about that. But let's pop over here to Underdog Fantasy and see what they've got for drafts right now. We could do weekly drafts, Steve, and guys can still sign up, man. You could still be a part of this. Promo code Quest still gets you 100% instant deposit bonus instantly. Like no slow drip, man, instantly.
We talked about this last year, and it's easy to get a little hungry when you see the multiplier, when you start making those the 5-leg parlay bets. And I did hit 4 out of 5 on my 2 5-leggers. So I was a bit bummed out. I kind of wish I had spread them out over like 2-2-2. Would have did a lot better. But either way, it was a pretty fortuitous week 1 for me overall.
So I must have. Yeah, okay. I'll see what I did on my pick'ems. My pick'ems I did last week. Man, I knew it, Steve. You weren't on here, but it was Saturday night when I did a box break. And after the box break, I did a thing of pick'ems, probably because Bush Leaguer peer pressured me into it, and Derek too. And I was like, oh, dude, Steve would be so excited because there was all these interception over-unders And I think if I would have just picked higher on all the interception over-unders, we would have I would have 5x my money or 20x my money, actually, if we put 5 picks together.
Yeah, it seems to hit more often than not, especially, I mean, even the great QBs, they just throw the ball, 40, 60 times a game. They're bound to get picked once. Congrats to London in the chat. He hit a daily draft tourney for $1,000, man. Congrats.
Nice. Right on, man. Yeah, awesome. All right, so look at this, dude. They've Best Ball Resurrection, NFL 2022 season. So this is a $10 entry with $500K in prizes, week 6 to week 17. And it's just love these, man, because they're so much fun. You don't have to do any roster start sit decisions. You just draft your team and then watch them accumulate points and be optimized. And it's a blast, man. So they also have a battle royale for week 2. They have the Thursday night knockout, which is a 3-person draft, 10K to first. So what I'd like to do is, and we could do this in a private league, or we can get into a battle royale. But let's see what they have here. So the NFL main slate for this upcoming weekend, they've got 10-person, 4-person, 6-person, $3 entry. So I feel very confident we can easily start off with a $3. Let's create a private one, so we don't have to you guys have to time the thing. I'm just gonna post a link here in the chat, and you guys can try and take my money, and you guys try and take Steve's money. But I'm warning you that Derek Richards getting in this one. He's got the little highly experienced shield, so you guys better watch out.
Let me get signed in here.
Bush Leaguers is gonna have himself a little shield pretty soon. I put the link in the chat for you, Bush Leaguers. I know you always have trouble getting the link. The link's in the chat for you, bro. Downloading Underdog right now. You are the man, Messiah. Let's go, brother. Yeah, man. It's still a huge help to the channel, and they re-upped me for another year on my contract because of how good we did this offseason. They love what we do with football cards. They're big fans. I've had several one-on-ones with their marketing director, super cool guys, and they absolutely love what we do on the Quest. So yeah, as we continue to grow, I mean, it's just a very natural partnership, and it's a huge help. Just a little, because we have no no true sponsorships, but the affiliation with them just to be incentivized for new users, and it's such a win-win, especially because their platform is so good. I mean, this is next to Sleeper has some interesting stuff. They have some interesting stuff, but their platform here on Underdog is just so good. They don't have any I don't think they have any signups or affiliation things that is as good as Underdog's, but Underdog's very well respected too, Steve.
I am in.
So we got this is the main slate. So we're just waiting on one person. Oh yeah, and Messiah's downloading right now.
Now this is basketball, and this is what, 6 teams?
So this is a modified best ball because you're not picking any bench. You're picking a starting roster only. 1 quarterback, 1 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex, 1 tight end. So shortened roster. You're selecting from only the 1 o'clock game or the 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock games. So you can see here, Carolina at New York, New England at Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay at New Orleans, the Jets at Cleveland, Miami at Baltimore, Washington at Detroit, Indy at Jax, Atlanta at the Rams at 4 o'clock. Oof, the Rams are going to be getting some revenge that game. Seattle at San Fran, Houston at Denver. That should be a good get-right game for Denver. If they don't get right against Houston at home, then that's trouble. Arizona at Las Vegas. Man, another interesting game. 0-1 opponents. And Cincinnati at Dallas. Dallas is just, they're going to get destroyed in that game. I'm sorry. And he's probably not even going to have T. Higgins, but Jamar Chase is probably going to put up 200 yards. Watch out for Joe Mixon. Steve, a big takeaway I had from week 1 was Joe Mixon was a freaking bell cow, man. And we were all talking about the reason why he didn't go earlier in the first round is because he didn't get the receiving work. He got the receiving work in this game. And I know they were playing from behind a lot, but by golly, I mean, we saw the Joe Mixon bell cow we wanted to see in this game, and that was exciting.
It's kind of on par what I was expecting out of him this year with the improved offensive line. Especially in a game where they were committing a lot of turnovers. I think that force feeding him is just a pretty safe play, and I think that they'll probably get out to a decent lead and just keep running the ball down their throats next week. Trayvon Diggs is known to give up some big plays, so if might be some early Jamar Chase long touchdowns there.
No, Underdog is not free, easy for Perez. It is it's fantasy. It's a paid fantasy football site, so there's an element of gambling. So some states it's not allowed. Like if your state doesn't allow DraftKings or FanDuel, it probably doesn't allow Underdog Fantasy. So the minimum amount you have to put in on Underdog to take advantage of the 100% instant deposit bonus from Quest, promo code Quest, is $10. It's not much. $10. You get a free 10. You got 20. We're doing a $3 one just for fun right here. The advantage though is you put in 100 and for the season, right? And you get a free 100. Now all of a sudden you got 200 and you could just do so much stuff with that. I mean, we cashed in pretty big last year, Steve, and I hope we can do it again this year. Definitely looking forward to doing more pick'ems, more drafts like this. We'll do this, and then we'll do a battle royale. Give us a ticket to win a lot of money, like those tournaments on DraftKings. But let's see. I think Messiah is almost in, and Bush Leaguers. If you didn't catch that roster, it's 1 QB, 1 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex, 1 tight end.
This will be interesting. I like it.
Yeah,
and I like how it's 1 week. So you're going to see a resolution, right? By the end of the day versus these best balls, which are awesome and fun to get into, but like you have to wait till the end of the year to see, your net gains or losses potentially.
Yeah, that's true. You got to wait all season versus you get this little instant gratification from either the pick'ems, doing them the night before. Like I love, or even the morning of. It's like, let me see, like we could have all gone on when you saw that weather in Chicago. Just start smashing unders for a lot of stuff. Overs, if there's any fumbling over unders, just start smashing overs on fumbling overs for both those guys. We hit so much on the quarterback interception overs. It's it's fun.
One thing that is easy to forget, and I was in a couple different home leagues this year, and just seeing the different strategies, and maybe you guys have seen this too, where, sometimes people will pick the best available for their starting lineup. I mean, I saw like early Tampa defenses get taken, or early Niners defenses getting taken, or like Justin Tucker getting taken like outside of the last 2 rounds. And it's, in a way, I get it. Like maybe he's the exception to the rule, but it's definitely interesting. Each different strategy that you might see.
My team
here we go. It just filled up.
Oh, let's go. Here we go. All right, man. Messiah at the 1.1 spot. He's getting that rookie treatment. There you go. Welcome to the club, the Underdog Club, Messiah. You're going to love it, brother. At the 1.1, Bush Leaguers 1.2, Derrick with that red and white, highly experienced shield at the 1.3, Mr. London, the 1.4, Hitman at the 5, and I'm at the turn. Get that double pick at the turn, baby. Let's go, guys. I'm going to pull up the Vegas insider spreads. Let's look at the point totals on these games, the initial lines and stuff like that. Steve, do you do any Vegas betting? I know you do the survivor pools and stuff.
Oh yeah, man. I love it. I love that stuff. I actually had Bears with a gentleman from the chat who may not want to be identified, and then I had on not Underdog. What's one of the main betting apps? I'm having a huge brain fart here.
FanDuel.
FanDuel on their sports book. I actually had a modified line. I had Bears -5.5, and I hit that one too. So I like playing the lines. I'm a big fan of the modified lines because if you have like a giver, no problem, Messiah, man. It was a nail biter in the beginning there. But I think it's super interesting because being able to modify lines allows you to maybe see the game from a different perspective than someone else and actually play it to your advantage. Like if there's a team you think is going to win, maybe the money line doesn't pay enough. Maybe you actually want more than that, right? Maybe you want to actually give points. And that's what I did in that game.
It's so interesting, man. Yeah, Jonathan Taylor is going to run over. He makes sense as the 1.1 here. Jamar Chase at the 5 over Devontae Adams. Man. Oh, here we go. Yes, don't mind if I do. We'll take Joe Mixon there. Kind of no-brainer at the turn. Javonte looked good, but, man, I'm going robust RB. I'm going Saquon Barkley after what that Cleveland run game just did to Carolina and Barkley did to Tennessee. We're going Mixon Barkley, baby. Let's go. The line on that Carolina-New York game is currently pretty low, 42.5. I could see that going over. It's actually gone up 0.5 point since it opened. And let's see. Pittman, such a dominant performance hit, man. Just there is nobody close. And, man, where the heck is Shant? Where's Shant been? Where's our guy Jonathan Taylor Cards been?
He must have saw how good the Lions played and Kirk Cousins played and decided not to show up tonight.
Well, I was gonna illustrate the fact that Alec Pierce dropped a wide open touchdown, and also he got out targeted big time by Ashton Dulin, and it's pretty clear at this point that Ashton Dulin is gonna take over the number 2 wide receiver job in Indianapolis. If you look at the utilization, and because he's dual purpose, he's a special teams All-Pro bowler from last year, All-Pro, like special teams All-Pro team. And now we already knew he was good at contested catches. He just doesn't have the draft capital behind him to really, kind of force their hand into giving him more opportunity. He's had to work for everything that he's gotten. And there's nobody even close to Michael Pittman, but Ashton Dulin, he's way better than Alec Pierce. I knew it too. Sorry, Steve. And Sean,
I'm still a fan of the guy, and he's still a rookie. But I mean, yeah, Dulin's got a little bit more experience, and I think that after Pittman, I think it's going to be a week-to-week carousel as far as who the next guy up's going to be.
I'm looking at the utilization right here. Are you buying into that OJ Howard hype at all? I mean, OJ Howard, just totally revived his little career, man. A little 2 touchdown game, just blowing up. I wouldn't be surprised though if they do it again though this weekend, because they're playing the Denver Broncos, who just got totally destroyed by Seattle's tight end. Like, they do not play good against tight ends. They do not play good against tight ends. I was disappointed by Denver's defense, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree. They were drafted and hyped as, really dominant, and they definitely were not whatsoever.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get my QB.
I got thrown off. I saw where Fournette was ranked, and Messiah jumped on him there. Thought I was going to get to snake him.
Jerry Jeudy. So the Houston-Denver game, I kind of like that game to turn into a shootout. We know Davis Mills can do it, and he's good. We know Russell Wilson. Look, this is in Mile High Stadium too. That ball is going to fly a little better. Not going to have all that crowd noise. It's going to be a little settled in. Russ still put up over 300 passing yards in this game. Jerry Jeudy had over 100 receiving yards. I really like. Yeah, I like. I like Cortland Sutton. That's who I was looking for. Trying to multitask here, but at the same time, man, Judy's just got that fast twitch, and he's electric, dude. He's electric. So you get him down the sideline, and like they did, and there's a big play is waiting to happen. So yeah, I'm gonna go Judy here against the Houston because I like this game to go over, man. It's currently at 46 and it's gone up. It's gone up a whole point from 45.5 to 46.5.
Yeah, maybe if it pans out either on Saturday night or maybe like an hour before kickoff, just get on here for 15 minutes or so and talk about a few of the lines just real quick. Not a lengthy episode, but maybe just a little tasty taste for some people that are new to it, just for funsies.
A tasty taste. I like it, man. I like it. Yeah, I think we can work something out like that.
How many receivers are we taking?
Two. So two receivers and one flex. So I'm basically taking the approach of I'm going to start mixing in my 1 RB, Saquon in my flex, Lamar in my QB, and now I need a tight end and another receiver here. And that's what's kind of interesting about these. You do have to fill out all the positions, and I've waited on tight end. Kind of bummed about Kyle Pitts' usage here in week 1. Definitely bummed about that, but hopefully that can kind of go up. So I can get rid of RB. I'm basically looking at wide receiver, tight end. I'm going to run it back here with Brandon Cooks. Oh yeah, give me Brandon Cooks. Running it back there, and yeah, I might as well take Zach Ertz. Actually, you know what? Hayden Hurst I did pick Mixon, so you know what? Let's go Higbee here because Higbee has a really high snap share. And he actually got targeted a lot more than Allen Robinson. So, I mean, I know a lot of that was game script and Buffalo's defense, but give me Higbee just based on his snap share, man. His snap share is massive.
Oh, crap.
He's always on the field. There's nobody. There's no real competition for him. Target competition in LA. Tight end wise. That Baltimore line is kind of low. The Baltimore-Miami line is 44.5, but with the strength of Miami's secondary, I could see Lamar running the ball more. And what I kind of look at here is that, okay, you've got Tua with all these weapons. I definitely think they're going to be putting up points against Baltimore a lot more than what Joe Flacco and the Jets were able to do. And I can't believe that he threw the ball 59 times. 59 times Joe Flacco threw the ball on Sunday against the Ravens with the poor efficiency that he had. But the worst part was that Elijah Moore only got targeted. Let me see. Elijah Moore had a large lead in snap share. So there was upside in terms of his snap share. He ran 75 snaps. The next closest guy was Corey Davis at 57. Elijah Moore ran 55 routes to Corey Davis's 42, but he only got 7 targets when Joe Flacco threw the ball 59 times, dude. 59 times.
Yeah, I was actually really looking forward to seeing what Zach Wilson would do against that team, but obviously we didn't get to see that because of the injury. But with Flacco starting, I didn't think there was a chance in hell that they were going to win that game.
Got it. Rage, what's going on, man?
I'm pretty happy with my squad.
Yeah, let's see what you did. A Chase. Oh, yeah, I got to love that. Pittman, nice. Yeah, that's a great play. And he's a must-start every week. Nick Chubb. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Chubb against the Jets. I think.
God. He's going to have another 150-yard game, man. Honestly, I think you could start Chubb and Kareem Hunt both this week, and they're both going to put up 20 fantasy points. Probably Hunt, though, he's got a little bit more of that touchdown upside. Joe Burrow, yeah, you got the stack with Chase. Amon-Ra St. Brown, super high usage again, man. He's target leader. Pat Freiermuth, love that tight end pick. Honestly, dang it, man. I missed him. I honestly would have gone Freiermuth.
I'm glad you did, because I kind of fell asleep after your pick, and I was like, oh, crap, I got 10 seconds, and I saw him sitting there. So
yeah, the Eagles aren't on the slate, Rage, because they're on Monday. They play Monday night against the Vikings. This is a main slate, Sunday at 1, and then Sunday at 4. Let's give the folks a couple minutes. I'm down to do one more. Might as well while we're on here. I want to kind of look at some of these pick'ems, early pick'em look, and see if there's any that we like Justin Herbert Thursday night. Do we do a pick'em slate for Thursday night? We got the 0.5 interceptions here from Herbie. I think that the passing yards, how many passing yards did he have this past weekend against the 279? He's got to go over this time. I bet you I would not be surprised if he goes over against the Chiefs. But these Thursday night games are so weird, Steve. I mean, I would think that he's got to go over 300 yards. This is a 50. This line has gone up. This line started out at 52.5. It's now up to 54.5. The Chargers against the Chiefs Thursday night.
It's a pretty high number. Yeah, I don't know.
That's total yards. Excuse me. I misspoke. I said 300 passing yards. That's total yardage, Steve.
Yeah, that's not bad for total yards. I like the total yards better than the passing yards one.
Yeah, I would say higher on that.
And if Mahomes plays the way he did last week, they may have to continue to throw.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna kind of dodge Eckler in this game. I'm gonna dodge Mike Williams too. I don't know. I kind of like the 4.5 receptions line on Eckler. I feel like that seems pretty low, man. Hey, that's pretty much on par. I mean, he had 4 this past week, but I just think that seems.
But you could argue that they might need to throw to him more with Keenan Allen out. Maybe.
Well, that and just the fact that the Kansas City front seven is pretty stingy, man. They're pretty stingy.
And don't forget that they were ahead most of the game last week. They might not be ahead all game this week.
Yeah, but even when the Chargers are ahead, Brandon, they didn't really they're putting the pedal down most of the game. But I get it in terms of he had more rushing opportunities this past week. I think didn't he have 14 carries this past week, which I think that's going to be about his new kind of par for the course this year. So 13 rushing attempts. I'd rather go receiving yards or receptions in this game, wouldn't you?
Yeah, receptions is like a dart throw because he's his last 2 games are 4 and 5, so it's pretty close.
What do you think, Pat Mahomes? 330 total yards, 307 passing.
I'd just say the interception line. Be done with
it. Go higher, right?
You can never go wrong with that one.
Even the Herbert one makes sense, But we'll go.
I mean, the Chargers D looked really good.
Yeah. What's his name? Derwin James. Yeah, Derwin James. When did they get J.C. Jack? Derwin James is one of the highest paid corners in the league. And when did they get J.C. Jackson back, who just got the bag? And I know he was hurt. He didn't play week 1, right? And
I was reading something about him this morning. I'm not sure if he's coming back right away. Let's see.
J.C. Jackson will be a big factor if he's healthy. Let's see.
He was limited.
Okay, well, it could be worse.
Yeah, I think realistically he's probably a go for week 3, but I mean, they looked really good even without him. Can you imagine when he's in there?
Yeah, well, Derek Carr had no problems, but that is Devontae Adams. Like Devontae Adams. Nobody couldn't cover him. He's just like Justin Jefferson. I mean, nobody can cover those guys. Doesn't matter who you are, you can't cover them. You know, he's just so good. So he still like put up. I mean, Devontae Adams still had a big game. Okay, I'm just looking at what else they have from that game. No, not touching Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Not even touching that line at all.
Do we have any intrigue on taking Jerick McKinnon picks?
Actually, the 17.5 receiving yards, that's pretty juicy, man. You know what's interesting? You could even play rivals here. Now you have to take into consideration the handicap. But, those are interesting, the rivals and the higher lower. I mean, yeah, I definitely think, especially with the shootout nature of this game. The only thing is, right, if you take into account the blitz rate of the Chargers and how good Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack is, the way to counteract that is to just run it up the middle. Right. And if they're going to run it up the middle, that's going to be Isaiah Pacheco. And he's not even on here. Like, that's the guy I would be, unless he's further down. No, he's not on here. But if there was a receiving number on Isaiah Pacheco, I'd be taking it. I'm not going to touch the Jerick McKinnon one, though. I will pick Juju Smith-Schuster, though. Oh, yeah. Give me Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yeah. What do you think? Receptions?
Yeah, I mean, I think he'll go over either one. I like both of them. 6 for 79 last week. I think this is going to be par for the course for Smith-Schuster. I think even that was like an entry-level week. And he's a guy, where they put him out of the slot a lot. So he's going to get his production. Mahomes is going to laser him in the seam. Running an out slant, Juju Smith-Schuster is going to be all over the field, and Marquez Valdes-Scantling's running wind sprints. Maybe he gets targeted deep, maybe he doesn't, maybe that converts, maybe it doesn't. But I love this line on Juju Smith-Schuster. Either one, I like either one.
Maybe the receptions and then the under on MBS for receiving yards.
Yeah, I man, it's too risky for me. I don't want to touch it because I don't know, man. That's a coin toss. Kelsey, though, 79.5. Miko at 36. That's even a little bit juicier than Marquez Valdes-Scantling. I kind of want to maybe just stick with those three and go for the 6X here.
Yeah, I mean, there's no shame in capping it, even if it was at 2, because like I said, I had 4 for 5 on 2 different parlays, and I wish I would have split them up a bit.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go for that. 3 picks that put in $10. If I win, I get $60. So boom. Yeah, man, you gotta love some underdog. Let's do a $5 battle royale, and then we'll sign off for the night. They do have to go to bed. Gotta make a good video for you guys tomorrow.
Yeah, I actually got to roll myself, but
we can do one more, right? These go quick.
I actually probably went a little longer than I should have already, so I'm gonna have to check out.
Okay.
I got my little guy here tonight, so I got to get him to bed. And stuff.
Oh, all right, man. Yeah. Priorities, brother. I hear you.
But best of luck to everyone doing the last battle royale here, and looking forward to see who wins our draft from about 20-30 minutes ago. And Andy, is always a pleasure, man. Every Tuesday night talking football with you.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. Great show tonight, dude. I'm gonna do one more battle royale, but you have yourself a good night, sir. I appreciate you stopping by.
Yeah, buddy. Catch you guys in the Discord. Peace.
Peace. All right, one more battle royale. You guys ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Enter. Click yes. Boom. 2 spots open. You draft against us right now, underdogfantasy.com. Promo code Quest. Instant 100% bonus. We're filled. We're going. You know what's great about this is you have a chance to win. We're to do the same draft we just did in the private, but now we have a chance to win $50,000 after Sunday. So let's do it. Oh, I got the 1.1, man. The streamer's delight. Streamer's delight here. 1.1. Let's see. Who do I go with? There's a lot of juicy picks. This is Sunday main slate now, guys. Sunday main slate. I got 30 seconds to decide who's got the highest point total on the slate. Let's see that Tampa Bay, New Orleans. That one's juicy. Give me some Leonard Fournette. I like it. Cincinnati, Dallas, though. How do you not go Joe Mixon? That's really hard. I'll pick that. That one has a high. Arizona, Las Vegas. How do you not go Devontae Adams? So, you know what? Yeah. Let's do this right here. We know what Derek Carr is doing. There's no surprise what Derek Carr is doing, what his game plan is, and nobody's going to be able to stop him. Sure as hell ain't going to be Arizona. Sure as hell ain't going to be Arizona. You know? I'm about to pull up. Let me see something real quick. Let's see what no talent clowns at the 1.2 went Jonathan Taylor. Rhys Spencer's on the clock at the number 3 spot. And there's no bench in this format. So it's going to go quick here, guys. We only have 6 rounds. 6 rounds. Quarterback, 1 running back, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, and a flex. Oh, let's sign in. There goes Derek. And Mr. London is in this. Looks like our guys, Messiah and Bush Leaguers, didn't quite get into this one. That's all right. Yeah. Oof. Yeah. Yeah, Devontae Adams about to feast. Let's see what Derek's doing. Christian McCaffrey. Okay. Love it. Looking at high usage running backs. That's the other thing I didn't take into consideration here. Mr. London stacking arguably 2 of the best running backs here on the slate besides Christian McCaffrey, Jonathan Taylor. So we have to take into consideration position scarcity. I didn't really even consider that. It's a good point. You only have to start 1 running back, but it may be optimal to start 2. I did that in the last one. I went Joe Mixon, Saquon Barkley from the 6th spot. So definitely something interesting to take into consideration. Derek coming back, going Tyreek Hill, or more of a balanced approach, knowing he can only start 1 running back anyways. Hard to pass up Joe Mixon there. I wonder what he's feeling about that game script against Dallas, do you think? All right, I'm back on Deebo Samuel. Maybe I pivot here and go quarterback or tight end. Kyle Pitt. No, I just don't want to spend. I would like to get Mark Andrews, though. So maybe we go. Yeah, let's go Lamar Jackson here and then lock down the number 1 tight end on this slate. Mark Andrews. I like that. You could say could be Darren Waller, but obviously I'm not going to pick Darren Waller when I've already picked Devontae Adams because trying to get like max points, especially in this big field format where, you know, we're going up against 50,000 other people. I'm not gonna like get that output from Waller and Adams on the same team. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm looking for highest upside out of my entire roster, and just not going to happen. It's just not an optimal strategy. at all. So, but I do want to look at the Raiders' utilization because Darren Waller, 49. Yeah, so not bad. 90. Yeah, dude, 90+% snap share. Still ran 36 routes. Which was only 7 fewer routes than Devontae Adams. But only saw, 6 targets, which I think is going to be about par for the course this year in the new regime of Devontae Adams. I mean, Hunter Renfrow still saw 7 targets. So they were definitely behind in this game. So could be a little bit different game script here against the Cardinals. But, I think both teams are looking for revenge. Both teams are going to come out pretty aggressive, trying to get up on each other. And I think that this is definitely probably one of the highest scoring games on the main slate here. If you're playing daily fantasy, Underdog Fantasy. Gotta love Underdog Fantasy, man. So good. Such a good platform. And these drafts are so much fun. We can draft heading into week 2, man. What other platform can you draft instead of having to pick which salary to pay for players, which is fun too. I do DraftKings too, but can't get enough of this stuff, man. So I do it all, whatever related to fantasy. And I will not be auto picked here, so I will get back on my. What do we have? Running back is okay. So Leonard Fournette's out there. That's easy. I was hoping though to get Leonard Fournette's easy. Got it. Resets my clock. Is Chase Edmonds out there? Could go with the ETN here. Michael Carter. Chase Edmonds is out there. I do have to kind of make a. Oh. Yeah, where's he at? There we go. Let's go this. Going with some game theory here. Because I went Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews. I'm going to run it back with Jalen Waddle because if I'm expecting Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews to put up their 30 points apiece, then the Miami Dolphins is going to have to put up points. And I obviously can't get Tyreek Hill. He went to Derrick in the early second. The other route to that is Mr. Jalen Waddle with that speed, man. That beautiful touchdown where 2 DBs literally were trying to close in on him, and it looked like they were so close to him. But I mean, he just squirted out the other side, and they just collided into each other, and he just runs in scot-free and for a touchdown on a 60-yard play. That was pretty cool, man. That was pretty cool. So. And we could easily see one big play like that from Jalen Waddle. He's going to pay off his 5th round draft ADP and in this 1 day format for this coming Sunday. What you guys are having a wild late night. I see what happened. 69 megas in the house again. I don't know where these bots come from. I heard there's some kind of bot blocker, but honestly, it's so funny to see you guys' reactions in the chat. Oh, I see what he said. He said, "You back, ho?" Oh, that's funny. And the last pick goes to me. I gotta get a. What am I doing here? What am I missing? A flex? Oh, I gotta get a flex. So I gotta get a flex. An easy one for me is been going Cooks or Judy, which just give me Cooks. I mean, Mr. Consistent. We know Davis Mills is going to put the ball in his hands. And I think, that game got easy shootout potential on it against the Indianapolis Colts. One more? You want to do one more? All right, one more. Might as well. We're on here 2 hours, 43 minutes. One more Battle Royale. There. One more Battle Royale. Because I'm here for you guys, man. When Messiah says do one more, let's do it. All right, I'm going to count down, Messiah. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Enter now. Look, tons of room, guys. Boom. There you go, Messiah. You got to get in the Battle Royale from the main lobby menu. All right, so I had the 2 butt-ins. I had the 1.1, the 1.6. Let's see what we get this time. Mix it up a little bit. All right, it's filled up. Let's see. Here we go. The 1.3. Okay, look, they gave Derrick the 1.1, Mr. London the 2, myself the 3. Oh, we got like a dude with a bandana and a red and white shield at the 4. I'm in a really hard spot here, stuck between a rock and a hard place here with these guys. No, you're good, Messiah. We got you, bro. That's why we do one more. And DFS Texas. That's like a tough name. No Talent Clowns in here again. And David's 91. No Talent Clowns might be the guy with Michael in the chat earlier that had the oh man, I appreciate that, Seahawk. I totally missed this comment from a little bit earlier. Yeah, awesome. Wow, that's awesome, man. What a cool story. Been collecting since 9 years old. He's 50 and still going. Dude, that's awesome. Hey, as long as you tried your best, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. All right. Let's see. We're going to keep grinding this. Number 3 pick this time. We kind of diversify our exposure here? Jonathan Taylor. Yeah, let's go Christian McCaffrey this time. We're diversifying the exposure a little bit. We're going to do a little bit different build. I know like kind of reached on him. I don't think I got any Chase. I just don't think. I mean, yeah, Chase is going to get his points. I just don't think he's going to get as many points as Joe Mixon in that game. I just don't think they're going to have to throw the ball that much. Like, obviously, they're the type of team where Zach Taylor is going to want to put the pedal down even if they're up. So, and with T. Higgins being out, yeah, I get it. So, yeah, I mean, it's obviously a smart play in the first round for sure at any point. And two big plays, and he's paying off, 20 fantasy points, 25 fantasy points. But they could be up so big that I don't know, man. Oh, I'm on a 5-second delay. That is interesting to know, Joseph, because I'm about to be auto picked. I think you need DeAndre Swift. Give me Swift. Yeah, mix up the exposure with running back this time. Okay, here we go. This is going to be interesting, guys. What's Derrick going to do here? Don't you do it, Derrick. I dare you. We know Mr. London's going to try and get Lamar, I think, on the way back here in the third. Derrick? Is Derrick going to be auto-picked? No. Just final second. And then he picks his third really quick. Cortland Sutton, Tyreek Hill. Torn on that final second-round pick. Goes Cortland Sutton over Jerry Jeudy. I think he likes Sutton better than Jeudy season long too. Mr. London goes, I was going to get Michael Pittman, Mr. London. Dang it. Now I'm going to have to go. You know what I'm going to have to do? I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm going to do it. Going to have to go down here. We're going Terry McLaurin. We're going to ride that Carson Wentz hype train. This is I'm trying to make a unique build. Unique roster, man. Unique roster. I guess I'm waiting on tight end and quarterback this time. But I got Swift. I'm thinking Detroit, Swift puts up 30 points. They get out ahead. Carson Wentz is airing it out to McLaurin once again. Maybe even I do a Carson Wentz stack. How gross is that? Like, it's cringy, but it could work. It could work against Detroit because we know Detroit's going to put up points, and that's going to force Carson to air it out. And if he plays like he did this past weekend, that could work out. Jahan Dotson and McLaurin here. Let's see. All right. I'm up. Can't be auto-picked, guys. No auto-picks. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Cordell Patterson. But wait a minute. Oh, I got a pick. Did I get the pick in? I did. Whew. That was close. Yeah, I think Dalton Schultz is going to be pretty much the only fantasy points from the Dallas-Cincinnati game. So we'll go Dalton Schultz in that game because they're going to be in a lot of negative game script. I could see a lot of dump offs to Dalton Schultz. What did Derek do? I'm back on the clock. Hold on, Derek. I got to focus because I need a quarterback and another wide receiver here. Okay. Are we McLaurin? Oh, okay. No. Let's go. Let's go Jerry Jeudy there. I can't bring myself to pull the trigger on Allen Robinson. I got to see him get some targets, man. I'm sorry. The separation didn't look bad. Like, according to the analytics, the separation was pretty good, but I don't know, man. I just don't know if there's going to be enough to go around with how locked on Cooper Kupp, Matt Stafford is. Messiah's already like, yeah, forget A-Rob. Forget that guy. Honestly, like late here, somebody should be looking at Darrell Henderson. Like, you could go late RB, and maybe that's Derek's plan here with his final pick. But Darrell Henderson could get a ton of work in this game. Yeah, I mean, guys, they're playing the Falcons at home. You get a 1-2 touchdowns from Cooper Kupp, and it's the Darrell Henderson show from there on out. Still got a 47.5 over under. I could see Darrell Henderson getting a lot of usage here in this game. All right, and I've got to pick a quarterback. So, shoot. Is Russ out there? Russell Wilson? Oh, man. Did they give me a quarterback or do I not get a quarterback? I got a quarterback, Derek Carr. But that doesn't correlate with anything. Dang it. I was going to go Carson Wentz. Oh, there he is. I just couldn't find him quick enough. Well, auto pick Andy strikes again. Otherwise, that would have been a great lineup. I would have loved it. I could have gotten Carson Wentz there in the final round, man. Super wonderful, cringy goodness. Like, watch Derek. He's probably going to go Davis Mills, Tua. Who's he going here? Davis Mills or Tua? Just going to wait till the final seconds and auto pick. Wait a minute. Did one of those bots come back in our chat room? Hit Ryan. Oh, he hit Ryan? It just didn't show. I thought you got distracted by one of those bots again. Messiah's one more. Man, you sound like my kids now. One more. Every time it's like, swinging him around, he said, I'm a bot. All right. One more. All right. You ready? Are you ready? We're doing one more. Battle Royale. Let's go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Enter. Yes. Boom. Oh, man. That one was already pretty much full. I can't leave it either. It's filled up. Sorry, guys. Who got in it? Messiah got in. Messiah got in. He was like, I got this 5-second delay thing down pat. I'm on it. What pick am I at? Oh, the 1.6? Okay. Let's do it. Let's see what we got. Yeah, that was Mr. London. Mr. London. All right, but seriously, this is my last one. Let's see. What? I just got a Twitter notification. Oh, don't forget to make your waiver claims. Thank you, Nathan Yonke. I do need to make my waiver claims. Did okay in fantasy this week. Out of the 7 leagues, I think I went 5-2. So not bad. I do have Dak Prescott, though, in a couple leagues. I got to do something about that, man. Yeah, I got laid stick. I beat him pretty good. I lost to B-Goat in the Dynasty OG League. Lost to Seagulls in the Short Print Bowl. Destroyed Buffalo Believin' in the Superflex Chrome League. Oh, man, I lost to Paul Hickey from No Off Season by 7.5 points. Dang, that sucks because that was close. And I had left a ton of points on my bench like an idiot. And I beat J-Hoff in the Rookie Ticket Auto Bowl. So, yeah, overall, let's see, not bad. Okay. Cup, Adams, Chase, Jonathan Taylor, Joe Mixon. Debo. He may get more carries now that Elijah Mitchell's out. We'll go Debo. We'll go Debo here. Seattle. We'll go Saquon. All right, let's see if I need to make any waiver claims in this league. Starting roster, Jalen Hurts, Travis Etienne, Jamal Williams. This is a 14-team league, so Jamal Williams, yeah. I went with a 0 RB approach because I've got Justin Jefferson, Mike Williams, Elijah Moore, Kyle Pitts. Man, come on, Kyle Pitts. Romeo Dobbs, George Pickens, Tyler Boyd. Tyler Boyd, I think, is a good one this upcoming week. Panthers at Giants. I'll probably just roll with them again, honestly. And then I have points on my bench, like Robert Tonyan's on my bench. I think he's a solid play. Isaiah Pacheco is on my bench. He's another solid play. I think I will play him this Thursday night. And I have Rashad White on my bench. And I've got DeAndre Hopkins on my bench. So, yeah, I'm not going to spend any fab money. You know what? I'm not going to spend any fab money there. Rookie Ticket Auto. Let's see here. Lamar Jackson. This is the Card Content Creator Bowl. Let's see. Let me pull this up. I've got Lamar Jackson, Leonard Fournette, Michael Carter, Jamar Chase, DJ Moore, Juju Smith-Schuster, Cole Kmet. But let's give it Sunday night. Let's see what happens in some decent weather. Gabe Davis in the flex. Whoop, whoop. Nico Collins at Denver this weekend. Let's go. Tony Pollard. Oh, I've got Dak. There's my Dak. Hey, but check it out. I've got Mitch Trubisky as a backup. So, honestly, I'm thinking about dropping Dak was hoping to get a little bit more rushing production. I saw the tweet from Tomlin saying that Trubisky or who did I pick up here? Saquon, Debo. Where is DJ Moore out there, or did he go? Cortland Sutton. All right, I'll go Cortland Sutton. Again, diversify here and buy me some time there. I do need another running back, quarterback, and a tight end. Running back. Oh, yeah, give me Nick Chubb. Okay. Oh, I guess I didn't need another running back. But wait, yeah, it'll be Saquon then and Nick Chubb in my flex. Okay. No, thank God, though. Hurts has got such a good rushing floor, though. I know, dude. I'm honestly thinking about just dropping Dak Prescott from my team. Honestly, don't know how much of a contribution he's going to make when he does come back, to be honest with you. I'm like seriously tempted to like drop him. Like, and I don't want to spend fab on Cooper Rush either. Like, gross. And I don't want to spend it on Geno Smith either, man. Especially when he's playing San Francisco this week. And I've got they didn't put Dak on IR. So I can't put him in an IR spot. So I'm going to put him on the bench and sub in Trubisky. Like Trubisky, New England, at home again this week. Maybe a better week from Trubisky, hopefully. But I'm not making any because I had so many points on my bench. Like, dude, I drafted a really good team. Dude, I had this is what killed me. I had Kareem Hunt and Cordell Patterson on my bench. And I had that was stupid. And I had Tony Pollard in my flex spot. So Tony Pollard's coming out. Kareem Hunt's going in. I'll probably even take like Nico Collins out and put Cordell Patterson in against the Rams at the Rams. Honestly, just for guaranteed production, I would have won. I lost by 7 points. Like, just terrible roster management there this week in that league. Actually, Cole Kmet. Put Cole Kmet. Got Irv Smith, who didn't get the targets, but that could be just a game script thing. So they're playing at Philly Monday night. So Irv Smith may be better against those Philly linebackers. All right, let's see. Got to get a quarterback and tight end here. Oh, give me Trey Lance. Let's do it. I'm going bounce back here with Messiah. We're going straight sniping Messiah. We're going Trey. And then for tight end. Oh, yeah, we're going to go Muth. We're going to Muth. I need the Trubisky to ball out with the Muth. We're going Muth. Lou Janu said he's dying to make a trade 41 minutes ago, needing a trade. Lefty McKee says needing a trade. My team's pretty good. He did terrible. Dying to make a trade. I've got players to trade. I've got players to trade. I've got players to trade. Card content creator bowl, just talking a little smack, just maybe seeing if I can wheel and deal, maybe sell somebody here because I've got too many good assets on my team. It's making the roster start sit decisions on a weekly basis too difficult. Yeah, but there's nobody there that I need to pick up. I'm not spending fab on a defense. Superflex Chrome. Didn't I just Yeah, that was the league that I subbed out. Oh no, I had Daniel Jones in my super flex spot and Kyler Murray in my starting QB spot. So yeah, I'm gonna keep rolling that. See what we get there. But Elijah Moore, Rashad Bateman, DJ Chark, Kyle Pitts again, Terry McLaurin, Devontae Adams, Travis Etienne. I'm not too upset about Etienne because his day could have been a lot bigger. There was a drop touchdown pass he had, and there was a couple plays where there was one play where Trevor Lawrence missed him. I think that would have been another touchdown, and the utilization is still there in the two. He got all the snaps in the 2-minute drill on the hurry up offense. So Cam Akers on the block is what Lefty McKee said. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm setting my. I'm looking to see if I need to make any waiver pickups, guys, because waivers process tomorrow night. So I'm looking to see if I need to make any waiver pickups tonight before tomorrow. So just going through each one of my leagues and seeing if there's any glaring opportunities out there on the wire that I need to look up, potentially pick up. Like this league, man, this league is pretty stacked too, honestly. And if I was looking at players at QB, no, it's super flex league, so you're not going to get anybody. Jalen Warren is an interesting guy in deeper leagues like this that's out there. Like Jalen Warren, a lot of people are going to be putting money bids on. But do I really need him? Like I've got Javonte Etienne, Eno Benjamin on my bench, who's definitely the RB2 there. So I could always use, and Jalen Tolbert, who's getting that. So I might as well, like this one, I'll put in a bid on I'm going to put in a claim on Jalen Warren and drop Jalen Tolbert. And we're going to put in like a percentage of my, where do I make the money claim? Oh, do I not have this on Fab style? Whoops. I might have screwed up. This is supposed to be a free agent auction bidding system. I may have not set that up properly. Derek. Congrats, Ryan. Nice. That's awesome, dude. A recon 12 out of 29 last night from Chronicles Hanger. Get ready to hold that for a little while, man. But they got a tough schedule upcoming. Let's see. All right, so Superflex Chrome got that. Short print bowl. Is this another league? Praying to God I don't have any more Dak Prescott exposure. So yeah, there's Jalen Tolbert. Again, another Jalen Tolbert roster exposure. This one's another solid roster, though. I like it. Led by Jared Goff, baby. But we can drop Jalen Tolbert. We can drop him. Put in a waiver claim on the bench for somebody else. Off roster. So let's look at what we got. Wentz is out there at Detroit. I don't need, this is a single quarterback league though, so I'm not going to go spending fab on Carson Wentz. It's not really any running backs. This is a 14-team league. Not really any wide receivers, honestly, either. This has been picked pretty clean. No, there's nobody. Taysom Hill. I'm sure people are going to spend some money on Taysom Hill. You could probably argue that he's worth a waiver claim, Taysom Hill. Yeah. I forget that this is, man, so I did it. I must have done it in terms, I could have swore I had the auction set up, but I'm going to have to, because I'm the commissioner of all these leagues, man, so I'm going to have to fix this for next week, guys. I got to change this to free agent auction bidding. There's no better way to do that there. I'm sure I've got these dynasty leagues set up, right? Let's see. Team. Do I have freaking Dak Prescott? No, thank God. No Dak Prescott. All my players look healthy. We got the IDPs. We got 6 IDPs on this one. 6 IDPs. Yeah, some of my IDPs are good. Shaq Barrett, Fred Warner, Rashawn Gary, Chandler Jones, Quincy Williams, but deep bench on this one as well. Oh, I got Chark on my bench like that. Gerald Everett on my bench. Let's go, baby. Josh Palmer on my bench. All right. And I got Gabe Davis on this roster, Naheem Hines, Trey Lance, my super flex, Kyle Pitts again. I might freaking sub his ass out for Gerald Everett right now. No, it'd be crazy to do it because I'm sure he's going to have his games, but at the Rams, I don't know, man. I don't know about that. Targets weren't there this past week as the Saints. Got DJ Moore, Keenan Allen. Okay, so I got Keenan Allen up here. But I'm not going to – like, and this is a deep dynasty league. There's not going to be – like, I don't want Cooper Rush. Kenyon Drake, no, thank you. Jaylen Warren is not even out there in this league. Noah Brown, no, thank you. Not going to spend anything on DeAndre Carter. Tight end, OJ Howard. I'm sure, guarantee you, some people are going to be putting in money on OJ Howard after this week. See, I got this one set up right with the fab money. I don't know. I must have screwed up those other ones. My bad, y'all. You guys are going to hate me because I'm going to have to change it after tomorrow. Oh, Dak Prescott on my OG league. Oh, but I've got Daniel Jones there on the bench. So it's going to have to be the Daniel Jones show this weekend, boys. Daniel Jones. This is a dynasty league. I can't drop Dak Prescott here. I got to save him till he's got some kind of trade value for me. I do have Jalen Hurts in my super flex spot, and I've got Gardner Minshew on my bench. All right, y'all. That's it. Wow, man. 3-hour live stream. You guys are awesome. You guys kick ass. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I got a piece live in the morning at 9 a.m. if you guys want to tune in with myself and Paul Hickey. I'll be on his channel, Sports Card Strategy, getting him up to speed and talking to him. He's got some questions for me. He loves to go over my win for the least, my win for the week, my loss for the week, my he likes to take me through a gauntlet, and we're going to be catching up on a bunch of football stuff. So I'll catch you guys there, or I've got a new video coming out on my channel tomorrow afternoon. So stay tuned for that. All right, y'all. Peace.